Hey. Thanks everyone for stopping by for a new night. Usually we got malt in the house on Tuesday nights at 9 Eastern, but on the side I've been meeting some people and sharing some whiskey and someone y'all familiar with Stephen C. and also a friend of his, Mr. Kenny, I call him. He's going to be joining us tonight with Stephen, and we're going to be getting into some really nice drams that I've been looking forward to opening up in a while. So even though it's not Tasty Tuesday, it's going to be what is today? It's Thursday. It's Thirsty Thursday. So let me get. At least I know Kenny's here, so let's add him. Hey, Kenny, how you doing, man?
Hey, Telex, doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. Sorry to pop you on the side. I was just telling the people about you and Steven, and I sent him the link at the same time, so hopefully he'll be able to get in. I know sometimes he has some Zoom issues, but hopefully he won't have any technical difficulties.
He just texted me, said he'd be about 10 minutes late because
that's cool.
Trying to wrap up some work stuff.
Yeah, I know how that goes. We're all thankful to be able to work from home like we do. It's I'm sure you're probably doing the same thing, right?
You got it. I am.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to be able to do. I'm very thankful, and also thankful to be able to hang out after hours with you guys and share some of these really nice ones that you guys have collected over the years. It's rare to come into across. I think of them kind of like at least the big three. It's kind of like when you think about thrash metal, you think about Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer, right? So with the big Isla, or I shouldn't say Isla, the big ancient old school whiskeys to me are like Port Ellen, Brora, and Rosebank. Like I think the ones that people tend to seek out. Anything come off on top of your head like that?
No, I think those are the holy grail. Particularly, Port Ellen was shuttered in 1983. So if you're getting it now, it's a very old whiskey. I think Brora was not too long after that. Rosebank, I think I made it into the early 90s. So you see those a little more, but yeah, they're rare treats for sure, and things to be savored and things to be shared with friends.
Big time. I've been lucky enough only one other time in my life to touch a Port Ellen, and I was lucky enough to get a Brora as well on the side, but I'm trying to remember, I don't think I've ever been able to get my hands on a Rosebank, believe it or not. I don't think so.
I've had one, and I'll tell you, Telex, my dad, you'll see him, Doug Clark, on the side. He's watching now, and I took a Rosebank home and popped the cork, and the cork broke off. So my dad, we got the cork out okay, but my dad generously or deviously said we can put it in my decanter, knowing that meant the bottle was staying with him. So it didn't end up lasting all that long, but he enjoyed it for sure, and it got left at his house for that reason.
That's what I like to hear, man. That's and I appreciate the comment on the shirt too, Mr. Clark. I'll just call him Mr. Clark to be official. Good to see you, Trooper. Hopefully, he's a watcher that's usually down there on the roll rigs of Louisiana. So hopefully you're doing well down there. And I guess Ida, I guess you pronounce it Ada, that hurricane that's down there, that's not making its way up towards those guys yet, I don't believe, for a while, right?
Yeah, I haven't been watching. I know it did a lot of damage down in Honduras, but I'm not sure what the state landfall is.
Yeah, it's kind of scary because it looked like it was going to loop towards Cuba, kind of cross and then curve over towards those guys. But hopefully, that's not the actual path, because I know they've had their hands full with all the last 3 or 4 this year alone we've been dealing with. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How's work been going?
It's going well. Working from home has just kind of become the routine now. So I think it'll be going on for quite a while longer. But I've kind of gotten into it, and it's interesting, but it's a kind of new way of life. And I think a lot of people are going to be doing this for a long time.
Oh well, hurricane is on its way to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, it's a scary deal, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I'm not sure. I think you work in law. I work for the government in the Treasury, and it seems like we've gotten busier because a lot of people get these micro purchases and want to use different devices at home, and we just try to order them and get them to them as fast as we can. But we try to have standards and set standards and security issues and things like that. We have to be careful about, buying just whatever for anybody. So it's actually gotten busier for me. Is it about the same, or has it gotten worse over time
Yeah,
as far as the magnitude?
I'm actually an accountant, and I do some work for some government clients, and the COVID dollars that are flowing in have affected my work and have been caused that to be a little busier. So we had a little bit of a lull right at the beginning of this, but once the CARES Act was passed, it was kind of all hands on deck, and been sprinting since.
I hear you. I can't complain though. I'm just thankful things are still moving along as well, sort of, as they can under the circumstances. So I'm looking forward to things. Hopefully, in the next few months. You never know with the vaccine, but it'll be nice to meet up with you guys in person. Hopefully, after all this stuff subsides here. Hopefully, I don't know. It's probably going to take us 5 or 6 more months, but you never
Yeah,
know.
we'd love to have you here in Nashville. Yeah,
I've been lucky enough to drive there a few times, up like going through, but haven't got to spend a lot of time there like I want to.
yeah, it's a great city. It's a lot more fun when there's a lot of live music going on, and able to go down to Broadway and have a good time. But we've been having a lot of outdoor tastings, and Stephen is very generous about letting us use his garage for tasting. So we've been finding a way.
I hear you. That's one thing I wish that you guys do have where you're from, but here it's lacking. I didn't have a whole lot of buddies that I didn't grow up here or anything either, but I didn't have a lot of buddies here that were into Scotch, other than a couple close friends that would come over every once in a while. But we both have young kids, so we've been ultra careful about really doing much of anything lately, it seems like.
Yeah.
But, man, I've poured mine out a little bit ago and let it set out, and I could smell it from here. It's so like intriguing.
Well, Telex, do we want to tell everyone what we're tasting tonight?
Yeah, go ahead and since it's courtesy of Mr. Kinney here, and I really appreciate it. So tell him everything you can.
Yeah, so I did break out one more. I know when I texted you, I said just the two, but I wanted to add on this Bracadier Benevos.
Sure.
And this is an 18-year Benevos, 1999 vintage, aged in an ex-sherry hogshead, and it really is a sherry bomb. And Benevos has really been one of my favorite distilleries of late, and I've been drinking a lot of it and picking up a lot of different expressions. This one was one that this bottler is a German bottler, Bracadier. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I had never heard of it, but I just saw this bottle on Whiskey Base, and it was under $100.
Wow.
And for an 18-year-old sherry Benevos at that price, I felt like the price is right. I'm gonna give it a whirl and see how it is, and it's really opened up quite nicely, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Nice.
That's one.
I think you did say that right, Brigadier. It looks right to me.
That's right. And then we'll move over. I don't have the bottle for this one because this is a bottle split with a friend of mine. But moving over to Isla, this is the Ardbeg Alligator, which was a release from several years ago, called Alligator because they did an extra char inside the barrel, and it made the inside of the barrel look like an alligator's skin. So that's the name of that. So we'll have a sample of that. It's a very highly renowned Ardbeg that due to being released, gosh, I think in 2012 or 2013, as a one-time release, you don't see it anymore. So that's one that I've had before. I'm excited, Telex, to hear what you think about it, because it just is, every day there's less and less of it.
right up my alley too. I'm a huge, as you can see back there, and I don't even have any of the core stuff back here. This is all like special release stuff, and I can't get enough of Ardbeg. And I'm surprised that someone has found something that I have never tried before. I've even had the Erdnam Based before, which is a really nice dram, kind of in the same, I think, your area. And this is the committee release too. I noticed they had two versions. The original was a little different, but
It,
this
for
one is.
for the Alligator, they were actually the same.
Oh, are
Exact.
they saying?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
okay.
a little bit of a different label, and one was released a little earlier. Usually, the committee release comes out at 51 higher ABV, but either way, it's 51.2 in this one.
That's perfect. Yeah, yeah. I did hear about back in when they started doing the special releases after they brought the distillery back online, that they did have a few that were, when they did committees and the limited, they were the same, and this must have been one of those then. Thankfully, I think once they got to the Dark Cove is when they started having the different batches, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if they did it before that or not.
Yeah.
Maybe Perpetuum, I think, had like a committee release, but no one really likes that one very much, it seems like.
That's right. So, and I did look it up. This is a 2011 release, so coming on 10 years now.
Wow, man! No wonder I don't ever see it anywhere. And you can still find things like Ardbeg and Kildalton if you're really, if you do look in the right places. And but yeah, things like Galileo in this one, unless you spend upwards like 500, it seems like it's really tough to find some of these classic ones. And don't even get me going about Lord of the Isles. That's the one that's like of all like holy grails for Ardbeg. That's probably my top wish list pick, but only if I win the lottery or something.
You need to have a spare 2K lying around to buy that bottle.
It's a beast, man. But someday I might talk somebody into splurging.
There you go. And so then the third and final one tonight is it's a Malts of Scotland bottle. And the series is called Images of Isla. And this is a Port Ellen, and the image is the Port Ellen Lighthouse, which is on the front of it. And this was distilled in 1982. Port Ellen closed in 1983. One thing I like about it is I'm a 1982 birth year, so I get a lot of the Port Ellens, or the final ones, are in 1982, and it was then 2013 bottled. So you've got about a 30-year Port Ellen here. And it's a sherry Port Ellen, not heavily, but it's got some sherry cask influence, which you don't always get either. Their standard releases are generally out of bourbon barrels, which you're only getting from Diageo these days as a special release. So that's
I did a drive-by nose.
That's all right.
It got me a little excited.
That's the lineup for tonight. I'll tell you, when Connor gets here, he doesn't have the Alligator. Because I just ran out of it. So he's out of luck for him. I did give him a mystery sample instead.
Oh, nice.
But we'll see if he can pick that out on the nose.
Good idea. A little blind taste to Quickaroo for Steven.
Yeah. It's one I know he's had before, so he may be able to pick it out. But Telex, do you want to dive in and start giving our thoughts and impressions?
Sure. And I was going to ask you, I know John, one of your buddies, sent some samples out a while back. I didn't know if he's going to be doing anything with those anytime soon. Have you heard? Or
yeah, we've talked about that. We just haven't nailed down a date. But
that's fine.
We're excited to do it.
So we'll make sure I didn't miss anything too.
No, we'll make sure you're involved in that. And for the watchers, Telex and a few of us in Nashville and a couple other guys have done a handful of blind tastings, and they've been really fun. And what we've learned is it's really, really hard to pick out a distillery just by tasting blind.
Yeah, because even if you're good about picking out profiles, unless you get an official distillery bottle, a lot of these guys love their independents, and they are really good. But when you go into independent, when you get a distillery like Tanninic, for example, the typical like Flora bottle is really like real light and Highland-esque, and floral and weedy and sourdough, that kind of thing. But you get like a really nice Adelphi sherry cask version. It tastes like a Benevos. It's completely different profile. So
Yeah.
it's what makes it really tough. That's why I haven't really got really heavily into the independents yet. I've been still trying to collect the best I possibly can get from the distilleries. I've been kind of eyeing some, but the painful thing is, though, sometimes you're not going to get as good for the money if you did go independent on some of these distilleries, and that's where I kind of fight whether it's worth it or not. But at least I could say I tried every Auchentoshan, for example, that they offer, and at the highest age and refinement that they offer, and I went to the independent and got an even better offering. That's the
Yeah.
kind of I guess the way I'm trying to do the journey with the videos and whatnot. So
Yeah, I mean, you're taking on some tasks like trying to find a good Jura. You're a better man than I for that one. There's a handful of distilleries that I give up on after a couple of their official bottlings don't please me, but an independent bottling, I may give it a try if it's a reputable bottler.
it's surprised that Malt just popped in to say hey, and he's listening in from California. I didn't know you could make it tonight there, Malt. That's cool. We just did I wanted to try to search for that bottle of Jura that might be good on from the distillery, and I wasn't surprised by the tin, because I had it like what was my first Strams period in Scotch, and I knew it was kind of smoky, but not really interesting other than that. And then the 16, it was good, but it wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. But it wasn't like disappointing to the point where I felt like I got screwed or anything like that. And then the 21 was a complete mind blank. I'll edit it a little bit. If it was a drain pour, like the first 3 or 4 times I sat down and gave it plenty of oxidation and went through all the motions, and I gave up. And when I had the tasting with Malt, I thought he was just going to be like, what in the world did you give me? It was because it was that bad. And we were going through it, and I was nosing it with him, and he was giving his notes, and it was a lot better than it was the first 3 or 4 times, considerably better. So it's a tough call. It's like you shouldn't have to wait that long on a whiskey, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially one that comes at that price point. I'm curious, Malt, what you're drinking. He says some HP cast strength, but I don't know what Highland Park's putting out at cast strength these days. So let us know what that is.
They just released a Highland Park cast strength bottle recently, Kenny. If I still have the adverts, I'll send you something.
Okay.
And Mom's in the house. Yeah, Mom. I was shaving, and I went a little too close, so I just took it all off, and now I'm going to grow it back. So there you go. It's coming back, though. Speaking of comebacks, look who it is, Mr. Steven.
Hey.
What's up? What's up?
I always like to catch people when they don't expect it.
That was good. I was about to text you there, so that's good.
How's it been going, man?
It's a whirlwind, man. It's been a whirlwind for me. I just got back from Atlanta and out of town, so just got back like an hour ago. So then got hit with some work, and here I am. So
I'm glad you made it. I know it's tough, all the stuff going on, and you got to get her done, right?
Yeah. And I was down there for the election, so it was kind of interesting to say the least.
I can imagine this year has been crazy. I'm just hoping that it all comes to an end peacefully soon.
Yes. Yeah.
Mom made it tonight. She says hi. She's kind of disappointed because I messed up shaving, and it had to come off. And
oh wait, are you missing it? Is it completely off? Wait, I gotta
it's just a little peach fuzzy right now, so I gotta let it grow back. It's gonna take a little while. It's funny because I feel like 20 years younger when it came off. I'll have to be honest.
Yeah. My beard is so white. I mean, I look at least 20 years older, so it's good good to look 50 instead of 70. So
It's funny because I think it is whiter now that it's coming back. I'm like, I don't remember there being this much gray, so I'm wondering if I screwed myself.
As soon as you shave it, it grows back white for sure.
Oh man. Oh, wow.
Steven, I didn't label samples I left on your doorstep.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you quickly, the 1 2-ounce one is this Benevos, which you've had before, the 18.
I can't figure it out. With
Bracketeer. The 1-ounce one is the Port Ellen that we'll get into.
Yeah.
And then I'll put one, I wrote blind on the top of it for you. So that you can sample while Telex and I are having the alligator.
Okay.
And we'll see if you can guess what it is.
I could open it up. I mean, I could open one up.
Hey, I'm all for that. My bottle's empty.
Yeah.
He's always got to show off, Telex. Always.
No, I love it. I love it, man. I love it when you guys do have your thing, because I just drool and think one day I will have one of those. It'll take me a while, but yeah, it's growing. But I got to be more selective with my collection, as you guys have noticed. I get wishful thinking, I think, is what it is. When I'm going for some of these distillery bottles, it's like, oh, but
Jura. I cannot believe you.
We've already covered that.
Jura.
It was better, I have to say, after that. But the first initial 3 were drain pours. But after I went back, after I guess I needed to get a decanter specifically for some Scotch, but it definitely was a lot better afterward.
Good.
Definitely didn't feel like a complete waste like I did initially. That's for sure. I was pretty mad when I first tasted. I was like, "Wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be." But
Kenny, have you ever had a good Jura?
No. But one day maybe we'll see.
I'm gonna hopefully get you guys a set of this 21 and see if this is. I mean, I'm going to have to do it in a blind so you guys don't know what it is.
Yeah,
at least give it its just due. I just can't tell you the ABV on it because then you'll know what it is probably.
Yeah. Well, not a lot of Juros I like, but there are a lot of Benevos that I like. So you guys want to dive in?
Oh, yes.
Wait, is that the one we're trying right now?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, so it's not the one I thought I was thinking. Is this a different 8-year?
18-year.
Oh, 18. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the Bracketeer, the German bottler. You've had it. I believe I opened it at your house.
Oh, okay. Well, you know how I am. I forget whatever I've had.
Yeah.
It's not like we only drink one.
There you go.
True.
That would make it too easy.
Yeah, but I was telling Telex, I ordered this from Whiskey Base. It was under $100. So.
It's so surprising that kind of. I mean, 18 years for under $100. How in the world did they? I don't know. Well, how many years ago was this?
Oh, I mean, about a year ago. Not
a
crazy long time ago.
And where was this again? You found it?
Whiskey Base.
Whiskey Base. Wow. Okay. It was an auction, you said?
No, it was just their store.
Huh. Okay. I have to look and see what they offer sometimes, because that's unreal.
Yeah, from time to time they put out some real steals, but just you have to get kind of lucky. It's usually more miss than hit.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin. I see Dustin's on. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you, Dustin. Hopefully you got one of these bottles to try along with. If not, something comparable. This is a Benevos 18, like they were saying. It's 56.8. It's definitely a high ABV. Wow. Yeah,
and you can smell the alcohol right on the nose.
You also get this really nice. It's almost like it slightly reminds me. It's not funky, but it's got this like Dunnage warehouse, like Springbank almost esque, nice leather bit with like some sweetness, spice, cinnamon.
Kenny, what's the vintage on this one?
1999.
Okay.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get a lot of sherry notes. I kind of get some maraschino cherries that have been soaked in alcohol, maybe.
And some really good chocolate too.
Yeah.
Yeah, chocolate. I'd definitely get the dunnage, what you're talking about. That's more of the, I just kind of can wrap, it's kind of the Benevos funk on some ones you get, especially with sherry.
This
But
one
it's
doesn't
not,
have any sulfur, which is not, which, I mean, I don't mind it. And I would definitely tell you if I got it, but I don't get the sulfur on this one like I do in some Benevoses.
I don't get really the sulfur. Maybe in some, I very few Benevos I've ever had really the sulfur note. Like
Just
what
the basic 10, like the regular distillery released the 10, maybe.
really, you get that?
That's the only one that I remember it being like up to the level of like, it's a much better dram than the Bowmore 15 Darkest, but it's got that kind of sulfuric quality to it that I actually enjoy it. But this is even better than that though, because
You know what's funny though? In this glass, now I've got a different kind of glass. I do get a slight sulfur note in it, but I have very sensitive sulfur.
Steven's just being a contrarian today.
Do what?
So you're just being a contrarian today.
Yeah, well, that's how I always am. But it's not a bad note at all. I mean, what I'm getting. So
yeah, it's like I think that's the same thing that when you're describing what you might get from the sulfur might be that slight dunnish nail. This is definitely, I think the big difference is the refinement of the sulfur you get from like the Benevos 10 distillery regular stuff than something like this. It's definitely a more pleasant sulfuric note, I guess is the word for it.
Where did we rate this, Kenny? On our like that epic Benevos night that we had like 14, 15 different ones. Where was this in the?
I mean, I think it was kind of in the middle, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I quite like it, especially for the value of
what yeah.
No
doubt about
it. Sometimes you don't get super heavy sherry on the Benevos, but it can take a lot of sherry.
Oh yeah.
So I quite like their bombs, their sherry bombs, which I think disqualifies.
Yeah, I agree. It's a heavy, it's a meaty dram. It's like Springbank. It's like sometimes Mortlock that you can get, depends on the which year village Mortlock, but you could definitely, it can take it.
I can't get over how much cocoa beans you get off this. There's a huge amount of like cocoa level. That's really cool. Cocoa nibs.
Bye, Mom. Mom's leaving. So.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, Mom. I'll see you the next one.
It's parents' night, Stephen. My dad is also watching.
Oh, cool.
He just texted me he's having some famous grouse, which that's Dad's I'd say probably go-to on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
I need to get my hands on the. I think it's
Clark.
the regular one, because I've heard that one's got. That's the one that has the really nice. Like I've had the smoky grouse, and I wasn't a big fan, but I've heard like the naked or one of those versions that was a really nice blend. I forgot if that was the one.
Well, Dad, put maybe in the chat. Which do you prefer, the naked or the regular grouse? The naked is a little more expensive. It's maybe $10 higher. But the regulars, I mean, it's a $30 bottle, and for that price, you're not going to find much better.
DHS is saying he's having the Four Roses, the 2020 limited edition barrel strength. That sounds really good.
Yeah, Dustin, Stephen and I actually got to try that a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was really good. Far superior to the past couple of years, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know if I had 2019. I know it was better in 2018. I thought. I don't recall 2019. I don't know. I almost not even judge bourbon anymore.
Fair.
It's tough. I mean,
there's just some herbal things going on in the background of this too.
Yeah, there are. No doubt about it.
I'm not sure if it's as deep as basil, but it's got some basil-esque kind of.
You know what I'm getting in this glass, which is this is going to be. You're going to think it's not a good, but I'm getting barnyard. I mean,
no, sometimes it's a good thing. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, I don't mind it. I really am now as it opens up.
Yeah, like I usually call it like straw and hay and things like that. So no, I know what you mean. I think it's whenever you get some aged barley. I think that's where maybe that comes from. That's my guess. I'm gonna have to have a little sip.
I think you're a little behind us, Telex. I think Stephen
Oh,
and
you
I
already been sipping? Oh man,
dove in.
I've
I'm
been
not as patient as you guys are.
I've been really enjoying the nose so much. I've been just getting all the little nuances. It's good on the nose.
So Dustin says the 2019 is way better. You know what? I kind of heard that too about some people that I trust. But
Oh, wow.
I did not have like I said, I don't recall the 2019. You had the 2019, Kenny?
I can't remember. I just remember the one we had the other day.
Yeah.
I thought that was the 2020, right?
It was. No, that was 2020. Yeah, that was good.
I cannot believe this is only 100. I mean, I was going to say only 100. This was under 100, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. That tastes glorious. Wow. That's like a mouthful of blood oranges, and
yeah, I get a lot of kind of like orange marmalade on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't drink 58.6.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. And it's but it's not too sweet either. This is Oloroso, right? Okay.
It doesn't say it tastes like that to me. It just
Yeah, it tastes
very
like that to me.
definitely tastes more like Oloroso than anything else I can think of. Wow. It's got some nice drying factors, even though I usually don't like a really, really dry dram. This one has got enough of a finish that keeps it rolling where you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. It's got kind of a creamsicle. It's got some vanilla. It's really got nice dark stuff going on too, though, at the same time.
Yeah, this is again, Telex. We were talking about this earlier, but sometimes taking a shot on an independent bottling is well worth it because you can get some really, really quality stuff that way at prices you won't get from distillery bottles.
Yeah, I'm also a fan of the SMWS stuff usually, but the only thing that kills you there is the shipping prices on some of the things.
Well, they've gone up a lot too in price. I've seen, especially if you want an Isla like a Lefroy, any of their Lefroy stuff.
Yeah, those to me don't offer any savings anymore. You may have to pay a premium just because of their reputation.
Yeah, but they are good normally. I mean,
agreed.
Yeah.
What's frustrating recently was I was getting ready to pull the trigger on. I was gonna, we're all fans of the vintages from the ball blares, and I've actually heard some decent things about the 18. So I wanted to get the new 18 over to get a little, at least a bottle for myself so we could do a little show on it. And Malt recently picked up an 05 vintage. So we were gonna, have a little vintage, have a little of the new. But I tell you what, man, getting something over here, I found it over in UK, but after customs and shipping, it was like literally double the price for like 130, 140. So they wanted like, it was literally like 275, I think, for just one 18 bottle. And I was throwing in another bottle. I was just going to get like a local woman 21, which is, it's a cheap 21. It's usually about 140. But for the 140 in the bubble, the 18, they wanted $500 for those two bottles. I'm like,
I tell you, the secret is finding the stores overseas that ship you decorative glassware instead of whiskey and don't charge the tariff because of that.
Yeah,
there's a couple of them that do that a little below board, but it helps out because that 25% tariff is a real killer.
It is. I mean, I'm surprised as these guys are surviving this kind of stuff on this, and some of these guys, like I've heard, Springbank's not able to eat it because it's so expensive, but there's a couple of distilleries, I think Balvenie might be one of them, believe it or not, that's eating all the cost of the tariffs that's going on lately because of that.
Yeah, I think, was it Brook Lottie or Bunahaben or one of those that was doing it also, I think.
No, you're right. I heard it was definitely a couple that were doing it. I'm like, wow, I'm glad somebody can because these prices are crazy. So I put it off to the side and I thought, well, I know it's coming to the States, the new ball bearer stuff, but I can be patient on that and wait another few months. But it's just a shame what it costs to get some things over here to the United States. Oh, man.
Well, if we get a new administration, hopefully that'll be the first order of business is repealing that tariff.
That's true. That is a big plus to hopefully get some of that. Yeah. I mean, I understand.
Kilholman. Is that? I don't think I said. I meant Kilholman instead of
Bunnahabhain.
But no, well,
Brookladdy. You said Brookladdy.
Brookladdy. Yeah.
Don't worry, Dustin's here to correct you.
Yeah, that's good. He's the, what's the omnibus or whatever it is. The
yeah, that's one thing I'm looking forward to is the whole tariff situation to get under control. Because I mean, certain like markets I can understand doing that, but for like things like Scotch and bourbon, it's like, come on, guys. Even for me, that's a little crazy. Oh my.
Well, so Telex, I don't usually rate whiskeys, but I know you do. So I'm curious where you put a number on this one.
I was just enjoying the last little sip, first neat, and getting the idea, and I do love it. There is this like minor, I'm not sure if I would say minerality, but there's like a slight pithiness, marmalade going on that I'm thinking I'm going to put a drop of water on it and just see, what it does first.
All right, just to Swami's in the house.
Uh-oh.
Something. Did he? Pennsylvania. Okay. We're not going to get into politics, but if he's breaking a news story here, we can at least just from a news standpoint. I don't know what's.
That's fine.
It's gone. Just from a news standpoint, if it's Pennsylvania's been called or not.
Well, I don't think that's happening tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna let them sort it out and see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully they'll say something here soon. Though it's really weird. But these circumstances, I'm not surprised with everything going on.
Not surprised at all.
So I'll tell you guys a quick story. We were talking about tariffs and customs, and this is Stephen. You're familiar with this story because you're actually impacted a little bit by it. But we wanted to order some kava lines from over in Taiwan, and Telex they wouldn't ship them here. They would only ship them to Canada.
Oh no!
So that was a challenge, but fortunately, my dad has a sister just outside of Detroit, so I ended up.
Let me guess, Windsor.
Yeah, you got it. I got a PO box in Windsor, and sent my dad and my mom and dad over the border to pick up. I think it was 5 bottles of Kavalan from the UPS store, and drive them back. And Dad was able to sweet talk the customs guy out of having to pay even the customs on it.
Oh wow!
And they weren't even worth it.
Oh no!
They were not as good as hoped, but
a lot of people love them. A lot of people love it. It's the Virgin Oak one, and a lot of people. I know that some of the Canadian guys have had it and love it. Some of the reviewers on here. So,
well, I
different
drank
strokes
one
for different folks. It's very different. It just did not hit my palate really well. It was all right. It just wasn't.
I kept 2 bottles for myself. I won one. I mean, I drank one and I sold the other one and pretty close to made the money for the 2 of them. So
yeah,
it was still profitable.
Good.
So thanks, Dad, for doing that.
I bummed off with someone else, but then got rid of mine. So
yeah, you bummed off with me, is who it was.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny.
No, Swami, I didn't lose a bet or anything. I was trying to do a trim and I just went crazy, and it was just better just to get rid of it and start over again. So it's going to come back, but it's going to take me a little bit because that was a long time. I was getting a little scruffy. This is good. The only thing about this one, and I'm not bitching by any means. The only thing that if I had a subjective wish to make it any different, that would make it more appealing to me, would be a little more sweetness. But that's just personal preference. The flavor's good. It's definitely got oranges, tangerines, blood oranges, and cinnamon. It's got some nutmeg in there.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but it's I would definitely get a bottle at the price, no doubt about it. I think it's great value.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that they're not selling it for more like a 150. I'd say it's worth about 125 to 150 is my take, especially for the ABV. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, the ABV is great on it.
If I was scoring it, Kenny, man, it's a tough one. But 1 to 5.25 increments, it's definitely well above average. Is it much more than a 4 though? It's creeping up, I think, on a 4 out of 5.
That's high. I mean, that's high. I mean, you're an easy grader
good.
though.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like, this is the way I look at it. I can't grade it like you guys unless I look at it from the perspective of I've had it all already, and this is like my cream of the crop 5 down to the 1. I think for you guys this is a little bit more, because you guys are more experienced with a lot of the independent stuff that you can get, which is, I will agree, is much better quality, higher end stuff. But based off of like the run of the mill included with all the good stuff that you can find, the good and bad that you can find in independent, that's why I'm kind of thinking, well, that's still pretty good, I'd say. I mean, it's got the no chill filtering. It's probably not colored, I imagine. It's got a great ABV. It's got a good 18 years. The flavor's good. It's not got any bad notes to it. It's not. It does have that little bit of a pith, but that's not, nothing a drop of water can't really curtail. It just didn't give me the sweetness that I wish was there. That's my only thing I could really bitch about, if anything.
And you're going to be different than Kenny or I on that, because
too much sweetness is not.
Yeah, we don't like sweetness as much as you do. I like a dram every now and then. It's sweet, but
so I just pulled Telex. I just pulled my invoice for this order. October 11th, 2018 was the order date. So 2 years ago. 82 euro.
Wow,
that's great.
That is a great price on that, I think. It's got a really nice long finish too, which I bumped it, bumped it up a bit, because at first I was going to say 3.5, then I thought no, 3.75, but after all said and done, I think 4 is definitely worth it. What about you guys? Like, if you were going to try to, you can use 100 point thing, or you can use a
start right out of a scale of 412. No, it's really right in my wheelhouse, Telex, and everything I love in a sherry bomb. I taste the little pith that you're talking about. I like that note quite a bit, and I really like it. I mean, I just can't disconnect it from the value of it, right? So what I paid for it versus, I've bought bottles at twice the cost that I think are half the value of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I factored value into the score, it would be more of a 4.75 out of 5. I'd say.
So I think just out of, do I like drinking it? It's probably a 4 out of 5. I have bottles that I reach to more frequently, but this is, if I want a good sherry bomb, it's one I tend to reach for. It's not overly complex, so it's not one that I sit and noodle over for 30 minutes, but it's one that if I'm just watching a game or some TV, it's a really nice one and a pleasing dram.
That's true. What about you, Steven? Same thing?
I mean, I'm not gonna take value. I don't take value into it, and I probably should, but I just won't. I mean, because if I start doing that, then it'll skew things a little bit too much for me.
If you start doing that, you have to stop buying the stuff on your top shelf.
Exactly. I want to feel good about what I have, so I don't want to take value into it. You know, I'd probably go with like the one out of 100. I usually go that route, so I'm gonna say, without taking value into it, and 84, 85, somewhere around there, which is a good score still.
Yeah, it's still. I'd say it's about 3.75. Getting close to a 4, on the same kind of scale. So yeah.
No, it's a quality dram at a super value.
How often do these the Bracadier? Do you know how often they release bottles? Do they still do it, Kenny? Any information?
I've no idea. I've never tasted anything else from that bottler or really seen. So I'm confident they don't make it to the U.S.
And that's a German one, you said, right?
Yeah, German.
It might be the reason why I haven't really seen or heard of them. I wonder if they do. Have you looked for any other bottles that they release just on a whim, like doing any searches specifically for their stuff?
No, I haven't.
It might be worth just to see what kind of they might have some really good prices on other bottles too. You know, never know what you might find with. It might not be a Benevos, but you might be able to find like just some off the wall like Glen Spey or Glen Ord or something that's a 20-year-old that is, you know, cast strength and it tastes glorious. You never know. Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, there's a couple of German sites that you can find. So a lot of times they have the other German bottlings. The Liquid Treasures, I think, is the German, right? Is that right, Kenny? Liquid Treasures.
Liquid Treasures, yeah.
Whiskey. What's the other one? Whiskey something.
Whiskey Fossil.
I just can't read in German though.
What's the bottles with the pinup girls on it? That's what is
with
it?
The what on it?
They have pinups, women pinups on it. The bottles, they're German. You know what I'm talking about?
St. Pauli Girl beer. That's the only one I know.
No, what did they do? They put a lot of pinups on their bottles.
I mean, Liquid Treasures does that.
That must be Liquid Treasures I'm thinking of. What's the other one?
I mean, Whiskey Base has a bottling too line. Yeah. They do. Because that's based in Germany.
Let's see.
I'll have to take a look and see if I can find another. Let's maybe try a wine searcher or 1,000 Corks or something to see if you can find some other that specific German bottler's deals. That's pretty good.
Well, should we move on?
What's the next deal here?
Well, the Alligator is a really powerful dram, so I think we save that one for last.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
move on to the Port Album.
Ooh. Oh man, 53.2. That sounds just perfect.
Yeah, 53.2. So there were 212 bottles that were released. And again, 1982 through 2013. And this bottle I probably opened 5 months ago, maybe.
Whiskey Agency is what I was thinking, guys. I think that's the one.
You're right.
Whiskey Agency. Okay. Huh.
And again, this is Malts of Scotland, which I've had a few of their bottlings, and they've mostly been quite good. So they're ones that I'm apt to trust if I can see a good review of it.
I think I have heard of those guys being also a good one to look out for. Don't see them very often, but yeah, when they do a bottle, they do it justice.
You know what? I think they're German too. Is that right, Stephen?
Which one?
Malts of Scotland?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Oh wow, the legs on that, man! Can you see that? Probably not, but the viscosity on this is just unreal. And I did like a swirl and it held, and then all of a sudden, like these 4 or 5 legs just slowly, as molasses are running down.
Yeah, this one we need to if we could let it sit. I mean, what's the age on this one, Kenny?
30. Well, it's 1982 through 2013, so either 30 or 31 years.
Oh wow!
So it's an old one.
This is only going to get better if it sits out longer. I guarantee it.
That's nice. Yeah, I've been letting mine sit for a while. I poured it before I got on, but we can definitely let it. Definitely just enjoy the nose for a bit. Wow, man, that is. I'm just. I haven't even nosed it much, and I'm just amazed about the leg runs on this one. That's crazy. That's about the slowest I've ever and thick I've ever seen one run before, next to like a Klein leash.
I'm gonna tell you, man, Port Ellen is.
And Klein leash isn't Klein leash and Port Ellen kind of linked together somehow?
No, Barora.
Brora, that's the
Klein
one.
Klein leash is on the old Barora site.
I get them mixed up sometimes with the old school stuff, but you're right. Yeah. Wow, that's just amazing. That's the tall tale of a great mouth coat, though, is when you see that happen. That is just crazy. It's like the
I'm
Glencairn.
gonna tell you. I feel peated ex-bourbon, especially older refill second fill ex-bourbon, is underrated. Like, people put too much value into sherry cask sometimes, but with peated whiskey, high quality, older peated ex-bourbon, man, they can be.
I think this one is a sherry cask, Stephen.
This is.
Yeah.
It's very light on the nose.
It's certainly been a used one.
It's really used, yeah. I mean, even on the color, you can tell it's not been. That could easily pass color-wise for a second fill bourbon. 30 years.
That's wild.
Yeah, which is good. I'm glad. See, I'm glad they're on this old one. They're using a really kind of tired sherry cask. Then that should taste.
Yeah, and one thing about Isla is it can really be overpowering. The whiskeys can be, and I like that sometimes. But this one is very delicate to me. Like, you get the smoke on the nose, but it's very delicate and integrated with the distillate quite nice.
You get so much more on the nose too, though. I mean, it's just got a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting, raisins
and I'm getting some ex-bourbon notes. Like, maybe it's through the because it's so of a tired cask, but I mean.
And the only other distillery that does justice like this to me, that does the really good old school stuff, is Kalila. Does it well, pretty, as far as their old school. It has that kind of really good ex-bourbon cask, just basics, refinement, great peat.
Yeah.
You're talking to a couple fanboys here for Kalila, so you won't get any argument from either of us.
They're definitely. It is kind of weird being a Diageo brand. You'd think that they would be more in your face, but they're probably the most underrated next to Bunnahabhain. And Kilhoman gets a lot of press because they're new, but
I mean, I'm more of a Kalila, like, especially if you can get 25-plus-year-old Kalila at a decent price. I'm more of a fan of that than I am Bunnahabhain, really. I mean, Bunnahabhain's great. I love it. I'm just saying, I think I'm a little more of a fan. What I've had in older whiskeys, I'm a peat head too. I like the peat with the peat heads.
Well, this is crazy, man. This is like the first one I've ever gotten, like, a combination of like really good sausages. Like, I'm trying to think how to explain it. Like a really a high quality German kielbasa, Polish. It's got this like combination of savory notes and with the peat and the fruit sweetness. It's like, it's hard to explain. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get a little maritime saltiness.
Yes.
Along with the fruit,
which I love, which I adore. That's
I don't think I would have said German kielbasa, but
yeah.
Oh man, it's got this like almost.
This is very good. This nose is very nice. What's the ABV on this thing? This is not too high.
It's 53.2.
53. Okay, I was going to say about 50, 51. Yeah, it's so much easier on the nose. I mean, than the Benevos, like, from an alcohol standpoint.
It's like somehow I'm getting like some spicy. I guess the sausage is going now into like more of a cumin.
Yeah, you know what? I know what you're talking about. It's a light note of sausage, like a not to me. It's not super heavy sausage.
No. You're right. It's like it's more of a meal. I want to say mealy, but a nice hearty breakfast with just the right amount of black
Oh,
pepper and just the right amount of green and red peppers.
But this thing is changing as it sends a glass. I mean, it is definitely changing. Dustin says that his most expensive bottle he ever bought was the Mike Kalila 30. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Dustin and Mike, they were very nice to grab me a Kalila 30 in Chicago here not too long ago, and Mike sent it down to me. Great packing job too from Mike, but yeah, I mean it was that 30. I have not opened a 30 yet, which I've got a few. I need to open one. I've got a 35 open, which is, as Kenny knows, it's very, very good.
Very good.
Oh man, I can only imagine. 35 years.
Yeah.
Is it like you've had the 18 before? Is it a huge amount of difference between even like a 35 and an 18?
Well, the 35 is at 58% too, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not really a comparison. It's got a lot of wood on it. Honestly, it does. It has a lot of wood, but it's not overly oaked at all to me. And I'm kind of, I've moved away from having a lot of wood, but from a standpoint like bourbon or something, it's not a lot like that. It's got a lot of good oak notes on it.
Well, I'm diving in, guys. This is also a bottle kill for me, so this is it for this one.
Oh, thanks so much for sharing this.
Oh.
It's insane, man.
Thank you.
Big time. I'm still, it's like my dad's Western omelet breakfast in a glass. It's like perfect.
Oh, he says the 30 is less oak and less darkness. I might like that more. I don't know. We'll see. This will be different, which is good. That's looking forward to trying. Dustin's saying that about the 30. I do like, it's got. I did hear, and Dustin probably can confirm that 30's got a little more of a lemon note to it, which I really like with the Kalila. So.
Yeah, I do too. I get that a lot from Kalilas, which I like.
Oh wow.
Okay,
oh my goodness, man. That is insane.
No doubt about it.
That is insanely. That is insane. That's like the first. Well, I would say it's the second whiskey I've ever had where you're even just not even looking at the awesome nose. The initial palate is like so different than the follow up. Before you even get to the finish, though, it's almost like you get two palates in one sitting.
I love that when you can find it. And this one, I get one thing on the front palate and then a little bit of a rush of smoke, which kind of comes and then it pulls back and dissipates. And I really like it when you can find that, but it's hard to find.
I'm surprised this one's got a really good amount of like juicy fruit, gum, meats, a really nice white pepper, spicy kick. Wow. A really nice brininess, maritime seashell kind of thing. But it's still bright. Man.
Yeah, nice long finish too, which I always.
It is a very long finish.
Yeah, it goes for quite a while. It's funny how this reminds me of an outstanding Kalila minus like the vegetal stuff you get on Kalila. This has got more of a briny. It's not. I wouldn't say it's Talisker-esque, but it definitely has more of a maritime profile than.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the Talisker comparison. I think it's more Talisker than Kalila to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little more ashiness on the peat. I mean,
I agree with that.
Not the same.
I also don't think it has the same level of pepper as a Talisker.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know what? To me, it tastes. I mean, like, well, it has some characteristics. It's not the same too, but I mean, I've had some old Ardbeg that kind of has some similar characteristics to this. So,
It does. In like the old school Ardbeg make that they used to have.
yeah. No, this is something that's not something pre 2000 when they opened back up, a little before 2000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. It's funny. It's like the perfect amount of fruit with the perfect amount of white pepper and spice with the perfect amount of that white ashtray kind of thing, but not clunky. It's definitely not overly sweet by any means, but it's got sweetness to it. There's no mineral bitterness going on by any means, thankfully.
Yeah, one thing I worry about with sherried Islas in particular is it not holding together that well. But this one, as we've mentioned, is not overly sherried, right?
Yeah,
like
definitely
a
not.
little bit of notes on it, but it's not like a first fill, fresh sherry cask that was used. So it's not overpowered by any means.
No, not even close. I mean, I could detect some, like you said, but I would think it's more ex-bourbon influenced than, and maybe like a real slight Oloroso slash Fino, almost like sherry kind of note to it.
Yeah, no, that's a good. And it doesn't say Oloroso, does it?
No.
It could
I think
be,
it's more of a Fino.
That's interesting because being an independent bottle, you never know. That would be very. I mean, that would be highly unusual if it was an old sherry, a Fino sherry, cask. That'd be awesome.
That's what it reminds me. It reminds me of like if you took that Lafroig Carriages Fino, but it was 20 years old. Or 30 years old. It takes forever to get that kind of character, but it's got the power of that with the refinement of.
You mean made it good instead?
You know what I'm trying to say.
I think I still have some back there. I've been open forever. I haven't really worked through it.
Oh, the old carriages.
Yeah, the Fino. I mean, it got better after it been sitting out for like a year, but
that series has been a struggle for the past few years.
Yeah.
Did you like the I wasn't a huge fan of the port and wine, but the triple wood
that one
carriages.
I did like that. I
liked it too.
And I actually like their standard release triple wood. I think it's got a nice kind of buttery note to it that is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Kenny, I found in my trip today. I did spend a little time hunting today, between here and Atlanta, and I didn't buy them. I should have, but it was 2013 or 2014 Lafroig cast strength 10s.
Oh,
for like $69.
What batch numbers?
Maybe it was the 15. So it might have been whatever the batch 15, 2015. So it's like 5 years old. It was $69 for it. So I probably should have grabbed some of those. But
Malk got really lucky. I'm not sure if you follow this deal, but he got really lucky and found some like batch 3s and 4s recently for the Lafroig 10 cast strength batches. He found some 2s and 3s recently. He's going to save me a little batch of that. I'll have to. One of you guys also gave me an early batch. I think it was like a 6 or a 7 that was really good.
Mm-hmm. I haven't had a ton of those, but batch 4 was one of my favorites. I really like that one.
I've got one that I really liked.
I think I had I think mine was like a 6. Let me see if I can see it from here. No, I had a later one. It was like an 8. Yeah, mine was from 2016. It was an 8. But that was a good dram for sure.
So I've got 2014 batch 6, and then
wow.
I've got. Let me see. I've got one here somewhere.
Surprised you still have any Lafroig 10 cask strengths left. I would have drank those probably first.
Here we go. Here it is. Yeah.
I don't think he needs all that Glendronach. I think he needs to make some room for some other things. Those are like my favorites, man. Those old school Glendronachs from like the 80s are like just. I can rarely find any whiskey I like better than that. I mean, I compare everything to a 30 to 40-year-old. When it comes to sherry, like Glendronach, man, it's crazy.
Well, I kind of screwed up. I really like this 2015. That's the one I have open.
Oh, that's the one you saw and didn't.
Yeah, that's the one I saw today, and I didn't. It's so much better than the 19. I mean, it's so much better.
You know what? If it's there right now, it's probably still going to be there next time you drive to Atlanta.
That's true. Yeah, I know where it is, so that's good. Yeah, I can go find it. It's the middle of nowhere.
So you just had to recently drive from Tennessee to Atlanta?
I went down to I went from stayed in Atlanta a little bit, and then was also in Columbus, Georgia. So I did a lot. It's
only about 4 hours from here, Telex to Atlanta.
Oh wow!
It's not a bad drive.
It could be such a big drive from Nashville to Atlanta, but you're right. I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't bad at all.
Well, do you have to go through a lot of mountains to get there, though?
Do what?
Just get through a lot of mountains to get there, though?
No. You don't go.
No, you kind of go directly to Chattanooga and then on down.
Oh, okay.
So you don't hit. You hit. I mean, there's one little hill you go over right there at Mount Eagle, Tennessee. Yeah, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
Not much.
Mount Eagle's a speed trap, though. I've had some bad times with state troopers there.
No.
I
saw some pulled over. Yeah.
Did I tell you about the craziness I went through this recently? That I thought I might even have to go to jail. I was going through driving. I had a radio festival out in Knoxville. Remember when I was trying to meet up with you guys initially, Stephen?
Yeah,
January.
That's right.
This past January, I was going through 81, which is around Roanoke, Virginia, coming back, and I was going 80 and a 70. And if you go over 10 miles an hour in a certain area, it's a felony. No joke. They pulled me over, and he's like all freaking out and all this stuff. Well, I found out, sadly, that it's kind of like a racket. They've got, as soon as I got my ticket, I had like 6-7 attorneys send me snail mail letters to represent me and all this stuff. And it was crazy, but
wow.
$600 later, plus probably another $600 in court fees and all sorts of stuff. I got rid of it, but yeah, they wanted to just charge me a boatload of money for that.
The Telex, back when I used to live in Charlotte, I had a client in Bristol, Virginia. So you drive up 77 and then down 81 to get there. So you spend you're on 81 for maybe 70 miles or so. Everyone on my team, everyone had at least one ticket on that stretch of 81.
Oh my God.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
That's the one I'm talking about too. And I'm like, I don't see how they get away with it, to be honest with you. I mean, it was such a racket that they had me going to get my calibration monitored, and of course it's fine, but I had to go and you get your car put on the thing. In Virginia, you can do it. They don't even do it in Maryland because it's not even part of the law, but you have to get your calibration thing. That's $100 too, by the way. It's just crazy.
Wow. That is a racket. Oh.
But I'm just glad that no record, no issues, no jail time, thank God. But and the sad thing about it was my court date was like in March or April, and of course this COVID thing happened, so they're pushing it, and it finally, like in August, I think it was, I finally got to be seen. I didn't have to go, thankfully, but had to get a lawyer involved and all that. That was just insane, man.
That is insane. Jeez.
But never drive speeding through 81 is all I can say.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah.
Kenny already found out.
It sounds like. A year. I mean, not this year because of, knock on wood, because of COVID. But
I learned that lesson the hard way myself, Alex. So I hear you.
That was painful.
I'll be right back, guys. If you want to.
I'm still enjoying this Port Ellen.
I'm gonna go grab some more glasses for myself, so I'll be right back.
I just can't get over the perfect meat of the spice and the sweet and the salt and the savory and everything with the pea kind of comes together, and must be the Port Ellen in the 80s, I guess, is where things happened.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of Port Ellen Telex, as probably a lot of people haven't. This is maybe my third. But man, they've all been really, really, really good. So I don't know what happened to cause that distillery to shut down. But I'm glad you can still get your hands on a little bit of it.
Definitely here, and I do remember the first time I had this, and I can say Port Ellens are definitely consistent with good character. This was a lot like the other one I had, and it was a similar year. I think it was around 32, 30, somewhere around there as far as age, and a different distributor. I can't remember the bottler on it. It might have been Provenance, I think, but still. It's really solid, man. I can't believe you were born in '82. Now I feel old. That's a good. I think that's when Grace Under Pressure from Rush came out, isn't it?
I tell you, that's one thing I like about hanging out with Scotch guys is I tend to be on the younger end.
Same here, actually. It's kind of sad that it takes at least 40 years. It feels like to get the money to be able to afford some of this stuff. And appreciate it for the taste, because I know when I was drinking, Sour Mash, Jack Daniels, and Slush Puppies when I was 15, I wouldn't have appreciated the taste of a great, 30-year-old Scotch.
Well, I'll tell you the story of how I got into it, and I don't know if my dad's still on, but he's involved. My brother did a semester abroad in Scotland. This was back in, I think it was 2002. But don't quote me on that. But my dad and his best friend Dave went over, and they came back Scotch heads, and Dave used to get nice bottles of Scotch, and still does from clients, and would get more than he could drink, and re-gifted some. And I wasn't a Scotch drinker at the time, but my brother was, and so Andrew got some really nice bottles of Scotch as gifts, and I decided at that point, I was like, by God, I'm damn well going to become a Scotch drinker so I can get some of these nice bottles too. And that's when I was in Bristol at the time, Bristol, Virginia, and I sat at the Courtyard Bar drinking Glendronach 12 every night until I acquired the taste. And it's been well uphill since then.
I can't imagine being forced to drink Glendronach 12 at a bar. That would be crazy.
I did it to myself to get into it, and I'm glad I did. It's cost me a lot of money, but
the best punishment ever is to be forced to drink Glendronach 12. I love that whiskey. To me, that's like a very rare 4 out of 5 whiskey at a 12-year age. It's really hard for me to find something like that and appreciate it as much as I do a 21-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was checking. I was hunting today and this week, but I was like checking every Glendronach 12 and 15 and 18 that I could find for the date codes to find what some of the older stuff. I did find some, but nothing that was 20. I found 2016, 18, but didn't grab it.
Wow. Were the prices good, or were they kind of crazy?
Yeah, prices weren't great.
Yeah,
it all depends on what it was, really. But that, it was so funny because on the bourbon side, I just was like looking to see what was out there, and there were stores that I found that literally was not selling. I told Kenny this earlier, but it wasn't selling bourbon. They had a museum of bourbon. They literally had a Stag, and then some other fancy bottles. And then I asked them how much it was, and they were like, "Oh, it's not for sale." So they were like, they just had them show off. Like,
I bet you
that makes me hate you. It does.
That's like every time I go to your house and I look at the Port Ellens, and you're like, "No, we can't open that."
Good comeback, Kenny.
The Broras.
Fucking store though.
No, I mean, I think it depends on how you play your cards. I mean, you don't want to be too assertive and come off like an A blank, but on one hand, on the other hand, it's like you almost got to be like, well, really, what would it take for you to release that?
Oh, I don't even. Yeah, but see, Telex, I've done enough of it. You don't even ask them. I mean, it's just you don't even want to know because it's going to be probably
it's
more.
Not even worth it with the bourbon.
Yeah, with bourbon, it's just you don't even. Like, I mean, some of them I'd even asked what they wanted for them because I knew if they were sitting there, it was going to be too much. So, yeah.
It's a shame though, because the sad thing about it is he might have looked at you and not knew what your background was at all, prejudged you as some guy that was going to think it was going to be $100 or whatever, and that's why he acted like that. But if he knew you were your history and what you've tasted and what your interests are, he might have been. He might have missed out on a $500-600 sale right there.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, you know what I mean, though. It's like, with customers, that I will agree with you. With customer service, man, it's like some of these guys should not be in the field.
Yeah, it's just the liquor store owners are, because I think bourbon has just created that where it's just
Yeah.
It's because they up the price a lot and they know they can get it. Somebody's going to come in at some point and buy it.
Telex, maybe flash Dustin's last comment up because that's he just summed it up.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
wow. I'll look for certain things on the shelf sometimes if I'm in an area that doesn't sell something, or they sell something that you can't get here, or I know that might be a good, like I found. Okay, I found the Elijah Craig. There was a lot of barrel proof Elijah Craig down there for good prices, and they weren't, and they had an older. It's not too old, but it's from May. It's the B520, which is a great release of the Elijah Craig, I think. And I was able to buy a few bottles of that because you can't buy those on the shelf here in Nashville.
Yeah.
So you do find a few things here and there, but Scotch is what I was looking for. That's really what I was trying to find.
I hear you. Ardbeg and I guess he's.
Emma's my mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my mom. So this is when my dad went and stayed to visit my brother, and his friend Dave and his wife Karen stayed with Ken, not me, a different Ken, and apparently a Scotch drinker in Dave was born. And I tell you, one of the great joys I have now is sharing some nice Scotch with my dad and Dave, Dave's like a second father to me. So that's been a great thing for our relationship, and well worth every penny I've spent on Scotch over the years.
I wish my dad got into Scotch. I even gave him a good sip of some really good, like Highland Park 25, and he's a Budweiser guy, so you know what I mean. It's like him. As soon as I say anything that's not, just regular beer, I might as well just give up. I agree with you there, DHS, Dustin. The B50, I think that's the one I had recently. That was a really good bottle, man, for the price. That's insane.
Stephen, that's the one we had at your house.
It is.
Wow, yeah, 3 bottles.
That was good.
Jeez.
Well, they had 6 to 8. I mean, I could have bought all I wanted, but I left. I just got 3, and I got 1 for my buddy John, which you know John Telex. So he might be on it. Sometimes he's on here. So because he really liked it too. It's a quality bourbon. It's one of the better releases I've had from them in a while. So we'll stock up on those.
I hear you there.
Well, Telex, what do you think? You got to score this one as well.
Oh yeah, I was going to tell you earlier. Then we got to chatting. This is definitely without a doubt. I tried it with water. It was complex still. It changed. Even after already letting it sit out for a good 20 minutes, and then coming to it, it was still changing as we were going through it. Always balanced, always complex. Great ABV, great craft. I mean, you can't ask anything more for coloring, chill filtering. It's not done. It's 30 years or 31 even. 82, man, is a memorable, great year.
A lot of great things happened in that year, I'll tell you.
It's a 5 out of 5 for me, guys. I can't find a flaw in it. I just can't. Wouldn't change a thing. It's got the right amount of sweetness, right amount of saltiness, minerality, bitterness, marine qualities, fruit. It's got it all. I mean, what does that whiskey not have? I mean, he even has sherry. I mean, geez.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I really like it too. You know, I tend to like whiskeys a little more that are just kind of knock your socks off, and I think about this about a lot of the aged Kalilas that are at a little higher ABV that are just really like blow you away when you taste them. So, um, you know, I'd probably knock it down a notch to maybe a 4.75, but it's a damn fine whiskey for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Big time, unbelievable. The only thing it reminds me of after a lot of oxidation too. This is another bottle where at first I hated it until I let it sit out for quite a while. Was that Kalila 17 unpeated? And if you had a little peat with that and a little more age, it would have been a bit like that. But it's hard to, no matter how you do it, make something like that. It's just, you see some of these guys, some of these whiskey channels, they even try to do like poor man's versions of things where they're taking blends and trying to make something taste like a Brora or a Port Ellen. You just can't do it, man.
No, you certainly can't.
That is unbelievable.
Well,
I'm eager to see what Steven can do with this blind tasting.
let's go on and move on, because Telex, I'm really curious to see what you think about this with your Ardbeg fandom. And this is one, and I'll tell you one thing I love about Ardbeg is I poured this one. It's probably been an hour ago now, and I set it to the side, and you know, even being 5 feet away from me, the aroma was all over. You know, you can't social distance from Ardbeg. It's got a real powerful nose to it.
And it holds its shape perfectly. It does not have any legs. It's like you do a few swirls and it'll have this perfect ring there for the longest time. And that, yeah, now it finally is now fading after like a good minute or so. That's wild. And you're right. As soon as I poured it, and I was like you, it's probably been out for an hour, and I was just kind of sitting here listening to you guys at the very, very beginning of the show, and I could smell that Ardbeg peat.
Yeah.
Oh my, that is insane.
Yeah, and so this is an interesting, because it's not age stated. My presumption is it's a younger whiskey, but again, that heavy barrel char is really the difference between this and in other Ardbegs, where the barrel has charred so much that it cracks and looks like alligator skin.
Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah, you don't hear anyone. I mean, the only thing even close to it I can think of, and I know it's nothing like this at all whatsoever, is that STR that Kilhoman did, that shaved.
Yeah, shaved, toasted, recharred, right? Yeah. I have not had a chance to try that yet. Telex, have you?
I did. It was okay. It was not a bad bottle, but it definitely needs time and maturity to get better, as far as, I mean, especially to get up to this type of, you know, caliber.
You know who else uses that process is the Kabbalan Vino Barriques use that shave to rechar process.
That's really good too, and that's the one that has the port qualities, right?
It's like a French wine cask.
Yeah, it's a wine cask.
It's a wine cask. So they have. I mean, I can see the similarity of port. They do have a separate port release.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the wine characteristics were so strong in that I couldn't enjoy I couldn't get a lot of the charring that I wanted to get out for that one. But yeah,
I agree. They're very, very strong wine characteristics.
On this, you can tell on the nose right away that this has got it's like an Ardbeg that's definitely roasted, toasted, and it's been through the. It's almost like if something could be double peated almost, but not on a ppm content level, but just a cooked peat level.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is this, Kenny, if I say, I think I've had this before. What you
you have certainly.
Kalila 25 cast strength.
What you're drinking?
Yeah.
No,
It's not Kalila?
it's not Kalila. You're close on the age, though. Close.
Now he's gonna be like,
He's gonna get so mad at himself.
uh-oh.
Well, hold on. On the nose, I just had one little sip, but the nose has got kind of a, oh, wait. No, hold on.
You're on the right island, I'll tell you that.
No, yeah, no, it's got some peat, but it's not heavy peat.
Dare I say?
Oh, this is a little lighter. This is the it's Ardbeg 21.
You got it.
Ooh. Oh, man.
How you like that, Telex?
Oh, dude. That's the rare other one I've never tried. I've heard great things about the 21, and 17 is another one I've never have tried that I'd love to be able to get my hands on. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I should give it some more time on the mouth, but on the nose, yeah,
I'll tell you,
I like the nose a lot on this one.
I'm gonna like that 21. It's, man, I mean, $500 retail. I don't
No,
think
it's
it's a $500 bottle.
It's not as good as a 23.
So I think it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum from Ardbegs, from this Alligator, where the 21 is very delicate and kind of muted, and you can tell the age has really kind of mellowed it out. It's an Ardbeg for sure, but it doesn't really kind of overpower you. Where I feel like, and I'll be curious to get your impressions once you taste it, the Alligator, that extra charge just really amps up the Ardbegness of it.
Yeah. It's this one. Dustin's asking which one. It is the 20-something. It's that one.
Yeah, the 20.
And I should have known the ABV is not as high, but I only had one little sip. But I could tell. It's no. I you know what? I enjoy it. I like it. It is delicate. It is. It's definitely the opposite of what you guys are drinking. No doubt about it. Kenny's right on that. But I like it. I like the 21. But you're right. It's not worth $500.
Have you had the 17 before?
I have.
I've heard the 17 is like a really nice, good bottle. Is that true, or is not your experience?
No, I like it. I probably like it more than the Beist releases, which I also think are really good.
Oh, you like it more than the Beist? Oh, really?
I think I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the 17 Ardbeg is like one of the best older expressions they've ever done. Their 20-something stuff is good. Their 23 and 24-year-old stuff, of course, the new stuff. But that classic 17 I've heard is like some of the best juice they ever released. That's crazy. Yeah, this has got a really good nose. It's definitely different. I've had the Perpetuum and the Dark Cove and the Kelpie and the Grooves, the Ardbeg, the Air Veritas, the Kildalton, the Blazda. It's nothing like any of those other ones. It's got its own. It's almost got this like super over buttered popcorn thing going on, but also with like some, I want to say mint, like those chewy mint candies. It's got like some minty properties going on too.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. It's just kind of a whole different experience to me, especially at I think this is presumed to be a 10 or 11-year-old whiskey, but again, the time in the barrel is a little different with the amount of char on it. But I those Ardbegs, the last few years, I've been very disappointed in their renewal release. But the ones, Dark Cove and before, including the Alligator, were quite good in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they did some really nice stuff for a long time.
And the Supernovas are, I think those are quality too.
They are.
But I guess the Supernovas are higher on the the peat levels. Then
They're higher on the peat level.
yeah,
They usually come in around 55% ABV, so a little higher there too. And again, I presume those are pretty young cookies.
yeah, I think so. I mean, especially the 19, but which is good. I really enjoyed it. The 14, 15, which I was stupid to sell. I think I sold the 15, or yeah, I think it was. Maybe I sold the 14. I think I sold the 14 and 15, which is really stupid. I should have kept the 14. But I've got the which one do I have? I have the 10. I think I have the 10 still. The 2010 one, yeah.
That's a nice finish too. Wow. Okay. It's funny. This has got some cola almost action going on the side too. It's not root beer, but it's more on the cola, like a really good. Some ginger, some smoke, of course. Man, what is that fruit? It's like,
yeah, I wouldn't have picked it up until you said it, but I do get some ginger on there. I really do.
that is really good. It's almost got also some like tea, some not as dark as tobacco, but like some really nice tea flavor. A little vanilla and honey. But it does have that.
Made meals in the house.
It's so like.
Oh, very
Hey,
good.
good to see you, John. Let me see. There he is.
John, what are you sipping on tonight?
Yeah. The man. It's got some like almost like a roasted peanut thing going on too. It's not overly nutty. It's more roasted flavor than nutty, but I do like it neat. I do like that. It's got some lemon going on too.
Yeah, and you don't like the lemon, do you?
I mean, in this aspect, it's not. It's actually good because this reminds me more of a good Southern sweet tea than overly like artificial lemon, like in your face lemon bar kind of thing. That's where I draw a line, like a Glenlivet Nadura first fill kind of crap. That's bad. But this kind of lemon is more like, and this is more of a realistic natural lemon flavor than the fakey stuff to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I get a little just a little hint of bitterness that I really like on it. Not overly bitter by any means, but just a hint, like a good pale ale or something.
Yeah, I think I'm getting that note, but I'm trying to get more of it because I'm trying to put my finger on what I would describe it as. I put like one drop just to see if I can get anything a little different.
John, this is the Ardbeg Alligator.
A committee release.
They're the same. The committee release and the untamed, same vattings. Just different.
Are they different, but different ABV, right?
No,
they're same.
Just different level.
Okay.
They're saying 51.2. I was surprised too when he said that, but he's right. Okay. Yeah, back then they didn't really have any differences between their limited and committee releases. They didn't start really doing that, I think, until after the Perpetuum, which would have been the Dark Cove. I think was the first time they started doing like actual different releases.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on it, but
Yeah,
there was some roller coaster, and some of the Supernovas were like that too. But
yeah, John, I'm drinking. I'm in the gutter. I'm drinking Ardbeg 21 that Kenny supplied to me. So
the gutter, I would have been in that gutter. That's like that's the posh gutter.
I just ran out. The alligator. I only had half a bottle. I did a bottle split with my friend Robert, and so I only had half a bottle, and that was just it. And ran out.
Oh man, I'm so glad you had a little bit of this left, mix. This is one of those that even if I looked and searched on an auction, I probably wouldn't have been able to find it for under $400 or $500. I'm thinking at this point, after 10 years, you would think, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge for sure. It was a while ago that we picked this one up, and I mean, it came up on one of your shows, Telex, that the alligator came up, and you said you hadn't had it, and it was good timing. I might have killed the bottle the next day if you hadn't said that.
That's wild, man. Yeah, it's one of those. The only other ones that I haven't had that I'd love to get my hands on is the Galileo, and maybe the Lord of the Isles, of course. A roller coaster I've never had.
I just sold a Galileo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Galileo is just okay. I like the Ardbeg better.
Yeah.
I haven't had the Lord of the Isles. I haven't had the roller coaster.
I think I bought my. Did I buy one for you, Kenny?
Yeah, I think so. This was long ago. I traded a Booker's Rye for a roller coaster and some other Ardbeg. I can't remember what it was. Now that Booker's Rye is going for $1,000 a bottle.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Who could predict? If I could predict the whiskey market,
that's the only reason I'm not selling what I have. Right? I mean, the Booker's Rye. I mean, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's a great whiskey. But I mean, who knows what they're going to be in a couple of years? I mean, the bottom might drop out of them, and that's fine because then I can just drink them and not feel terrible drinking it. But
yeah, it's a good place to be in because that is one you want to drink.
Yeah.
I don't count them yet, but I'm when I get heavily into more collecting, I'll probably will have to collect them too. But have you guys ever tried the Very Young, Still Young Renaissance series that they had a long time ago?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
This one would be interesting to just try. I wish we all got lucky enough to get our hands on like a sampler pack that had the Still Young, Almost There, Very Young Renaissance release. That'd be a hell of a Christmas gift to all three of us, I think. Anybody out there listening? I can be wishful.
I mean, I just probably, because I probably wouldn't buy them because they are a little expensive for being kind of really young. So that's kind of why I wouldn't.
One's literally called Very Young.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a 4-year.
It is. It's a 3 or 4 year.
So that's I think I don't know. I had to see what it's going for secondary, but it was it's maybe around close to $300 probably. I would say
they're easy $250 to $300. I think I have actually seen a couple of these on some sites that you guys frequent on occasion. Keep your eye out, but yeah, the secondary market prices are a bit insane for
98 to 2004, so it's a 6-year.
Oh wow!
It's above the Wee Beastie.
And as Dustin says, it's probably older than the black.
Oh, he went there, didn't he?
He did. He's going to.
Yeah, the only reason I think I'll be honest with you guys. After sitting and having more whiskeys like this and doing some more heavily thinking about it, I think the only reason I really enjoyed the black more than some of you guys was the fact that it was more of a. I don't think it was cloyingly sweet by any means, but I think it is more on the sweeter side whiskeys that. And sometimes a really good cask, which it is a really good cask, can mask other things that you guys might be looking for that I don't see. And since I'm enjoying the sweetness and the cask factor of it so much, I don't really pay attention to other things that I probably should. So it's kind of one of those kind of things that are probably going on with that. But
Yeah, that's just a little rough around the edges for me. I mean, I don't think it's a bad whiskey, but when you're asking me to pay $125 for a whiskey, I want a little more refinement on it.
Yeah.
I do think it was overpriced big time, because when you're used to paying like 100 to 110 for the committee and the LR, pre-secondary craziness, it should stay that way. How they can think they can justify not only doing $25 on market price, and you also got all this tariff nonsense going on. It's just a lose-lose situation to be in, to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's these places, they follow the secondary market too, so they see it.
Yeah.
See what people pay for it.
This has got the most interesting nose out of any Ardbeg that I can think of in a long time, and that's saying something, because, and I'm not saying it's like any better than the Ardbeg like 23-year-old will say nose, but it's definitely more intriguing and just as complex. It's got so many different types of factors going on that you normally don't get out of an Ardbeg, for me at least. It's weird. In a good way.
I mean, right when I poured it, it just had a very strong smoky aroma, and it's really died down a little bit in the glass. But the smells just really dissipate a lot. I can kind of get a little. I mean, certainly, I think I can smell the malt, the barley, the malted barley, almost a little yeastiness.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. This has got definitely more. It's earthy. It's not like dark earthy, but it's definitely got some more like an organic green barley kind of thing going on. It kind of reminds me of like if you took a Springbank Green like 13 and gave it different peat with more age. Not less. No, it'd be less age. But the weird thing about this one is it's 52, but this tastes a lot less to me than a high ABV like that. Does it taste 52 to you?
No, it doesn't. And usually it takes some age to take off the ABV, but this one goes against that.
How long have you had it open, Kenny?
Oh gosh, years.
Yeah, that might be something to do with it.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
It hasn't lost its character, thankfully. Still has some brine in there too.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny, I remember trying this one. I think when we first met, at least I think the first tasting, that we did in our little Scotch club or whiskey club that we had. So, I definitely enjoyed it. This was a quality dram.
It's got some of that. It's got like a sugar daddy kind of taste on the side too.
Yeah, I mean this is one. Is it worth what is going on secondary? I don't know, probably not. But it's one that any real Ardbeg fan should seek out to taste.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Yeah, I can't put a price on something like this because it's so rare, and even though it's not like maybe like I think you're right on the 10 years. It's probably right around 10 years ish on age. I don't see charging a whole lot of money, but it is good enough to where if I was going to get a secondary Ardbeg, I would definitely get it way before I would get the Blazda or Perpetuum or even Araverdes. I would.
I am sensing you're not a huge fan of it, Telex. That's what I'm sensing.
Of this one?
Yeah. I mean,
I am a fan.
You're talking about the Blazda and the Ardbeg, whatever. You're probably. Right?
No, what I was saying was I would get this way before I would get the Blazda or the Perpetuum or the Araverdes. I'm saying this is a lot better than those.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is up there with I would put this up with the Kildalton, and that's a solid 2014 release that they did. That's really good. Have you had the Kildalton at all?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
That was a good one. Unfortunately, I don't have any left, and it's been gone for a while. But that was If you can still find that, guys, and it is reasonable. I think you can get around 250 to 300. I can't promise you it's like, older than a similar age than this, but profile taste wise, I think it's right up there with this one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The ABV might be. Let me see what the ABV though
I
was.
think Dustin says kind of what I was thinking, because I'm just being a contrarian tonight. But he's like, he'd get it before the worst of the worst of the worst.
Man, I don't think the Arverdis is that bad.
No, I know. I'm joking. I've never had it.
I think that's
I don't
solid.
think I've had it.
It's not in the same classes. Like, I like the Ardbeg better.
Yeah.
I like the Dark Cove better. But Arverdis.
Telex, what do you? Okay, here we go. What do you like better than this from an Ardbeg on the Ardbeg, the special releases? What have you enjoyed more, you think? And then that's I mean, that could change. I mean, it's difficult to say that because it's you've been a while for you since you probably had any of those other ones, but.
Oh, they're memorable. I could definitely rate them for you.
Okay.
I was just going to say this. The only thing about the Kildalton 2014 you guys probably will not like, it is a good ex-bourbon, ex-sherry cask, but it's only 46%. So that might be its downfall on that one. But you guys are right. Like, if I had to pick my favorite of the Ardbeg series, it's going to be the Dark Cove CR. Can't get better than that.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the Supernova from 2009. That was excellent.
That I've not had.
Yeah,
those are like the top two like whiskeys. I think that as far as Ardbegs that are my favorite is that the classic Supernova, the Ardbeg, the Dark Cove CR, and then it's when you start getting into. That's like, to me, that's like the top tier. This to me would be going the second tier, which would be like these are to me are really, really good. So I'm not knocking them as like the Kelpie, the Grooves. It's not as good as the Dark Cove. It's probably just as good or better than the Kelpie and the Grooves CR. It's a hell of a lot better than the Drum and the Black. But it's like, and it's like this one's a hell of a lot better than the Era Verdes, and a hell of a lot better than the Perpetuum. It's like
I mean, the Grooves is an extra charred barrel too, isn't it?
It is.
I think it's like a wine cask or something, but
yeah,
there's extra char on that.
I think. Let me see what it's. I think I might still have that. Let me see.
And the only reason I might enjoy that one as much as this one is because that one is a sweet dram as well, comparatively. This one to me is just as good, even though it's not as sweet. This one's got more. This one tastes older. This one tastes more refined than the Grooves does by far. I think this one's a lot. This one might not be as edgy as far as, I wouldn't say edgy. This one might not be as sweet on the fruity side of it, but this one definitely does have the char and that piece of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's. I mean, if I'm given like, if I usually rated like the Kelpie, I think would be like a 4.25. As well as maybe the Grooves. The Dark Cove, I would give like a 4.75, or 5. Like it's this one I think is up there. I'm thinking it's definitely better than those two. So I would give it like at least a 4.25, if not a 4.5.
I was not a big fan of the Kelpie. I mean, I liked it better after it's been open a while, but it had that sauerkraut. I mean, we talked about this before.
German breakfast, baby. I love that bottle.
Yeah, see, I'm not a big fan of that. So, and the Grooves was like okay, but I mean, it wasn't anything that was awe-inspiring or anything. It was all right. I mean, to me, the community releases have been they've been fine, but I mean, some have been better than others. I mean, the last 2 years have not been that good to me. The Black or the Drum, I think those have been not even close to what they've been selling for. But yeah, the Dark Cove is one of my favorite, of course, the committee release. And I really like this Alligator but I've only had it, I think maybe once or twice, so it's not like I've had it a lot to really sit down.
Turn around and open a bottle up.
I know, yeah, I know. But and then and then the supernovas have been very good. So trying to think what else. But that's yeah.
I think that scoring is about right, Telex. I think you're there. I mean, it's not a perfect whiskey by any means, but it's really very enjoyable. I got this bottle, like I said, as a split with my buddy Robert, who Telex from some of the tastings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we got it a long time ago, so we did that split and got it at a good price. So I'm happy I did that.
Yeah.
I don't think I paid today's cost for it, but I'm glad I got to drink through half a bottle.
I'm definitely going to get my own. It's definitely, even at the secondary market, if I can find it reasonable secondary, it's good enough to where I'd put my money where my mouth is and try to find one for around $250 to $300.
Well, don't spend the extra $100 on the committee release, because it's same juice.
Yeah, no, that's a good.
The only reason I might consider like a premium on the CR is for the bottle, which I know is crazy. But if you don't collect bottles, send one to me. I would definitely proudly display that sucker, because that would be a hard one to find, I imagine. But yeah, I mean, I might pay an extra. I'm not only talking 10, 20, 30 max for the bottle, but
I think it's probably extra $100 on top of. For the committee.
I mean, the Alligator goes for a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You're not going to get it in the twos. You're not going to get it for I don't think you get it for the threes.
I was thinking, I thought I might have saw it for $3, but I have to take another look and see. But that's where I probably would draw the line, though. Secondary, even I'd probably say $300 to $350 is my absolute max. Because I mean, the only reason I say that, it's not that it's not good. It's just like you guys said, that it doesn't have the age to drive the price up. It's got the scarcity, to do it. But when that's the only thing. I mean, I do love the ABV on it too, and it is a classic. That's a real tough one. I could like argue with myself for like a half hour probably whether or not to spend $300 on it. But that's saying it's a good whiskey, at least,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Telex. Well, I'll tell you a couple things that I'm excited about. Well, one, opened the new Springbank 21, the 2020 year.
Ooh.
That's really quite good. I enjoy that quite a bit, and it's interesting because it's a mix of sherry, rum, bourbon, and port casks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really crazy. You get a lot of different flavors on it.
Isn't that one like $500 right now, or is it more?
I got very lucky and got one for about $200.
Yeah, you got to jump on it.
Jump on it right when it released.
You got to jump on it right when they release. And you got to get it in Europe, Telex. So that's the problem. Yeah. That one.
I didn't freeze. I'm just like I'm like frozen because I'm in disbelief.
Look how dark
it for that kind of price. That's crazy.
Dustin can talk about it. He's
look at that.
He's reviewed it with Mike and they loved it. So
that's really good. And I just ordered the new Aaron 21.
Yeah,
and that's just about just over about $120 for a 21 year.
So I'm assuming that I'll come back into the Aaron thing, but the Springbank 21 for the 200, 300, I'm sure that's long gone now, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Damn it. Well, if you guys have any extra, like, if you hear something's getting dropped at a good price, please let me know so I can get at least just one bottle. That's all I want. Oh man. So what you said you get in the Aaron as well?
Aaron 21 year, yeah. So that.
Oh, did you see my review on that one a little bit ago?
No, I missed that.
Look it up. You're in for a treat, man. That's that's the new Aaron 21 that you're getting, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You're in for a treat, I think. And I'm putting to an account to how picky you guys usually are on stuff. Even with your level of expectations, I think that you will be pleasantly. Very pleased on the price on that too. It's really good. I mean,
it's very, very reasonably priced for a 21-year-old single malt.
And even though the Benevos 21, I even heard at Petite Cellars, my local guys told me they're going to start selling it for like $160, which is crazy low.
Wow.
The Aaron 21 blows the shit water out of the Benevos 21. That's how much better it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, by large.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, Aaron's a good. I mean, look, it's different. It's, it's not a peated. I mean, they do have some peated expressions, but normally not, and it's kind of a fruitier dram. But I mean, I think they're doing quality stuff there.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah, they're especially with their core lineup. I think that's really taken off, and it's hard to even get it overseas because it's selling out a lot. And I don't think it's maybe it has to come to the States. I don't think so though. I don't think the new range has come to the States yet, has it?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The only thing I've seen come to the States is like the really, I won't say low end stuff, but the unaged NASs, like the Bothy cask, the quarter cask, I think's arrived, but I don't think you're going to see the 21 or the 18 or the.
Yeah, I've seen some of the old 18s in like the taller tubes.
Yeah,
but not
down here. We can get. Yeah, we've had some of the Aarons, the 18s. We've had even single cask, older. Some of the older single casks we've had, in even in Nashville. So. And then and I think you've had the specs pick. The 14-year-old was great. I mean,
it's a great bottle.
One of the better values, sub like $85 for a first fill sherry, Oloroso sherry, 14-year-old, and fantastic pick too. It's exciting. I wish other stores would do more. I know it's a lot of bottles to do it, but. You have to be a chain like Specs is to probably do it, but I wish they would do more of that.
One thing I've noticed when I was asking the guy when I told you guys about trying to hunt down a new ball blair version of the 18, he was telling me that the problem is their distributor, which is a pretty big distributor, Thai Bev over here, they don't want to. And I think it's kind of the same issue with the Aarons that you're seeing. They don't want to start trying to sell the new stuff until they sell all the old stock. So I do know a place that's selling the 83 Bobbler. If any of you guys are interested in that one, for like $400, I think is the price it's going for here. It seems like it's cheaper than what it should be. Is that right? Or is that a good price on that?
I bought some. I have a few, and I bought it for $2.99.
Yeah,
your price is much better.
I mean, but that's a good bottle. Like you've had it. It's a really nice bottle.
Oh, it is excellent. Yeah. I mean, when I got that sample, I was like, "Holy wow! This is like one of the best scotches period that I can remember having."
Did I send you that sample?
Yeah, the 83.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about Ball Blair a little earlier. That's a quality distillery. I mean, the 1990. Sherry cask is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
They just do a nice job.
Yeah, in the new series, I've heard that the 12 was interestingly enough to get. The 15 is sherry forward. It's probably a skip unless you are, into the more sherry, fruitier stuff. And then the 18 was like kind of like a good balance of everything. The 25 is good, but it's so highly priced. It's $500-$600. So it's kind of, it's kind of like their 83 now. Is it worth, that kind of money when you get an 83 for $400? Hell no, I would think. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I would love to get my hands on a new 18. So he said that it's going to be well into next year before they get to the States. So I think Aaron and Ball Blair are probably suffering from the same issue as far as getting rid of all their old shit first and then going into the new stuff.
Well, that's good. I mean, the Ball Blair, I'd rather have the old shit anyway. So if you find it, I would definitely recommend that over the new. What I've heard, I've not had any of the new, but I know the old stuff's good.
I've heard the 18 is good, so I am intrigued enough to try that. I probably would skip the 25. The new,
they've gone up so much in price too. That's the thing.
That is
yeah.
well. Hopefully, since it's not really available in the States yet, hopefully it'll come down. I know overseas, if I was in the UK, I can get the Ball Blair 18 for $130. Now, comparatively to the price of, I guess the 90 was the 18, right?
No, the 90's 20-something years old.
Yeah. Oh, is it really? Wow.
Yeah, and that whiskey was so reasonably priced.
Yeah,
that's true.
140. I think I paid 140 for my one.
It was a 25-year-old Telex. It was 1990 to 2016.
Wow. Okay. Well, never mind then. What was the 99 then? That was my favorite. The second release of the 99 was really good.
I don't know. I don't have one, so I don't have it logged in my spreadsheet. In true accountant form, I have all my bottles logged in the spreadsheet. So
I thought that the
Let's see,
99
let
was
me
a
see if I have
15.
one.
I thought it was a 15 year, but maybe since the 90 was a lot older, maybe the 99 was also like an 18 year.
but I remember I bought the 90 for like $130.
That is cheap.
Okay, so it's 16-year-old maybe. Could be either 50. It's bottled in 2015.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, that was about what I think it was like $100 or 110, right, for that one. I want to say.
No, really, yeah, it was not a lot at all. I think this one. Let me see where I got this one. Second release. Yeah, I got this one in the States.
Steven, I'm pretty sure they have a bunch of those over in Cookville.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just the old 99s.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good one, Kenny. If you haven't ever tried it, I would definitely recommend picking up the second release of the. I can't speak for the first release. I'm sure it's good too, but the second release of the 99, I've heard it was good. And I've had that bottle, and also did samples with the group, and that one was pretty well received overall.
Yeah, Cookville is this little city, Telex, kind of between here and Knoxville, and it, for whatever reason, has a couple nice stores that actually carry some decent scotch, and I just remember seeing it there. Last time I was there, I bought a few of the Benevos 15 at the same store.
Nice.
Yeah.
Independence or distillery?
Distillery.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many did you get?
I got three.
If you ever decide to sell one, please let me know.
I will. You got it.
Is that only Benevos bottle I have is a 10-year-old, and I'd love to get an older distillery bottle that I can.
Yeah, it's a great bottle. Great bottle.
They have a distillery version. I think that's 23. Have you guys had any of the real old distillery bottles like that?
The Benevos?
I've had a 21 that they bottled for La Maison du Whisky in Paris, and it's phenomenal.
Is it secondary prices right now really crazy? Yeah, that's the one.
That's it. Yeah.
What's the secondary market for that one right now? Do you know?
Probably 400.
Oh, geez, man, you're breaking my balls.
It might be more than that now.
Oh, I mean, I understand for a 21-year-old, I can understand going like around 280 to 300 maybe, but I don't know, man.
Seen that, but
yeah, that
53.7. Wow.
26-year-old.
Oh.
1970 distillate though.
And you want to sell that to me for about $100, right?
Yeah. Those are some of my most cherished. I mean, the old Benevos official bottlings. I just bought one that's. I hope it's being shipped. I don't know if I've seen anything yet, but
let me show you what I just opened. Todd, I'll be right back. And I'll
the 25-year-old 1984 cask, which Kenny, honestly, he had one and opened it up, and it's one of the best first fill sherried whiskeys I've ever had, and I loved it, and so I've been searching for it for a couple of years, and finally found one.
So this was a recent opening.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is an independent bottle, Michelob Choice, but a 1968 Benevos.
Oh, wow, man.
It was bottled in 1999.
Is that 43%?
It is 43%, but it's a good 43%.
For you guys to get wowed by 43%, man, is impressive.
It is a wow bottle. It is for 43, and I don't say that lightly because I do not normally. It's one of the best 43s I've had. I will name 3 bottles of 43s that I personally have had that I've loved, and that's one of them. That one, the Lefroy 30, 44%, and the Port Ellen 20-something year that Kenny also was generous enough to let me try, and I don't remember what it was, but
it was a Scott.
Providence, was it?
No, it was a thing of Scott's selection.
Oh, was it? Well,
yeah.
It was fantastic. So,
wow, man, that's awesome. I have actually heard the Scott selection ones, but I think they do some independent bottlings, right?
Hey, look, yeah, they do, yeah. Dustin just got the 18 and 21. There we go. Nice
Wow.
job, Dustin.
Yeah, no, I think that's good purchases, especially for the price.
Yeah, the 21. I can't speak for the 18, but I've heard the quality of their new stuff as far as the quarter, the Bothy, are really high caliber. So if they're doing justice to all their new stuff, then I wouldn't be hesitant about the 18 either.
Yeah, they were sold out when I was ordering, so I didn't get that. But I'll tell you, I mean, that distillery just opened in '96, so the 21 was just a few years into their distilling lives. So that's the quality. I think it's going to continue to get better. It's a very quality distillery.
It's funny, we do get into these distilleries before they really take off, and then it's hard to get these things.
Aaron was around before that, right?
I think it opened '96, didn't it?
Yeah, it opened '96.
Oh, that was it? Wow. Yeah. Oh, I thought they'd been around since like 1886 or something. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, to be such a young distillery, they're really kicking ass with the new stuff. At least I did have their old 16-year-old, the last line, and then Aaron 16 was not very good. But thankfully, this new stuff seems a lot better.
Right. I was telling Kenny, I think that probably the Aaron, because they came out with this new, fresh lineup and everything, the new, kind of, I feel like their first batch will be the best. You know what I'm saying? And then when they the next few years, they'll still be good, but they might not hold the quality because they're probably using very good cask and maybe even older cask than what's even in there. So, I mean, it can't be too much older, I guess.
There's a limit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, but I guess I'm being a little, what's the word? But I'm thinking normally how business people do. They try to wow you with the first batch of the new stuff, and then they'll kind of wean you down a little bit. The quality goes down a little bit. So,
well, good news is there's more time to order more. My package is supposed to get here on
nice.
Monday, so we'll open it up quick, and if we have to get some more of it, we can.
Yeah, no, I've almost bought it a couple of times. I think they've been out the places where I've wanted to buy it because it sells out pretty quickly.
Doing good, Samuel Cass. To answer your question, appreciate you coming by. We been looking at some really good stuff on the side and talking some whiskeys. We're excited about the new Aaron stuff that I've been looking at to do the new 21, and Malt was happy, I know, with the new quarter cask release. At least I haven't tried it yet myself, but I've heard good things about the new Aaron stuff. So I'm glad somebody's doing something right nowadays. Comparatively to all the other ones you hear where they've changed, like Old Pulteney, and I'm hoping Enoch doesn't do the same thing because Enoch's got a really great 24-year-old for $250.
Oh, really?
And, yeah.
I don't think I've ever had that one.
Yeah, you have.
Okay.
At Mo's house, we had it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I always say that. Yeah.
It was around. It was probably in December last year.
Okay.
Around that time. Maybe January.
Kenny, did I like it?
You liked it, didn't love it.
Okay.
Didn't love it.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's definitely not. That's a tough thing because it's definitely on the lower ABV thing, and I know that when you get used to getting some really good 50 to 55% stuff, it's really hard to go back. And I understand how that feels.
Yeah.
You can get some really old good stuff at a
Y'all
high.
probably aren't drinking anything. Y'all drink anything now? No, I mean, I've been drinking this. This is the one I got in Atlanta. This is for good value.
The one you got in Atlanta. The one.
Okay, well, I don't want to say how many I got, but I got a few. I got a few for a bunch of people. Put it that way. I pretty much, yeah. Atlanta's dry now, Lindronic single cask, but I left a couple. I did leave a couple, but it's a quality. This is a quality one. It's a good one. Not as good as this. Probably not. No, it's definitely not as good as the 647, which is this one, which Kenny had.
Yeah, that was very good. It was a very good one.
It's fantastic. This is a great Glendronach.
I was actually drinking. I just finished off just a little dram of Wee Beastie since Kenny was knocking it a little earlier.
Oh, he was?
I think he just brought it up. He wasn't knocking it, but
I'm happy to knock it if you want me to.
Oh
He
my.
did not like it. I remember. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a 5-year-old entry level. It's like Ardbeg's version of Select. Surely he liked it more than the Select. He probably didn't even touch the Select.
It's better than Select.
Well, there you go. So be happy. Now I'm finishing off this Blazda, man. It was okay. If you're into if you want to see what an Ardbeg unpeated bare bones decent make tastes like, then it's worth it. It's kind of like the predecessor to the Wee Beastie without the licorice. That's the only thing I'm not a huge fan of the Wee Beastie is that anise licorice note. But other than that, it's not bad. But it's not great either. What you got, Kenny?
So Telex,
that was good.
we were just talking about Aaron. This was one of my Halloween openings, the Devil's Punch Bowl.
Ooh, I've heard that's a really good one. Is it?
Yeah, this is the third and final release. And yeah, I've had the second and the third. I probably like the second better, but it's a very good dram. It really is.
I think you guys, I'm definitely not saying ever go spend secondary market prices to taste it, but if just for like if you ever run into it and it's not a crazy price, I think you should at least try a sample of the Blossom just to see what it's like, because it is unlike any other Ardbeg I've ever had to compare it to. It's definitely more in the buttered popcorn kind of light and floral type of, it's kind of like a Dalwhinnie 15 in a weird way.
Yeah, I'd be interested to try it for sure. I don't think I'm gonna go find a bottle of it, but I would be interested to try it.
The slight hint of peat, not like 4 ppm, very very low. That's pretty good though. What are you drinking, Ken?
So the punch bowl. The punch bowl.
Oh, you poured it?
Yeah, I did. So it's 8 sherry butts.
Oh wow.
8 French barrique casks and 5 bourbon barrels. That's what's in it.
That's insane. I've got to usually use distiller on the side also to get some notes. You said this is the Fiendish Finale, the chapter 3, right?
Yes, sir. You got it.
53% French oak, ex sherry, and ex bourbon. That sounds really good. Wow. French oak you don't really find too often.
No. I mean, there's some good things that I've had out of French oak, but it's not a common one. I imagine it's expensive for them to put barrels together. I don't know.
So this is established in 95. Okay. That's so wild that they're that young. I could have sworn they were around for a lot longer, but it goes to show that they can do something. Have you ever tried their Micromore peated stuff? Is it any good?
The only thing I've had is the entry level, and for $50 or so, I'm fine with it. It's not going to blow you away, but it's not insulting either. I wasn't upset that I spent $50 on it. So it's good. I think, and I haven't had it in years, but it had room to grow. So I'd be curious to try a newer release.
Can you remember what the peat profile reminded you of, as far as like, did it have any Brook Lottie type of vibe, like Port Charlotte, or was it more like an Enoch flouter or cutter type of peat? Or
I've not had the Enoch peat. It kind of was a little Lecheggy.
Okay, good. Okay, I like Lecheggy.
Yeah. So that's
kind of farmy.
Yeah.
That sounds intriguing. At least they do get pretty good reviews, even on the like the 5th edition from 2014.
Yeah, I mean that's Telex, probably the one I had, or around that time frame. So that's 5-6 years ago. So I'd be curious to try it again.
Yeah, 46%. That's not terrible. At least it's not 43 or 40, right?
And I think Stephen, you might know this better. I think they built another distillery just for peated malt.
Yes, just south of
Lag, right?
Yeah, Lag.
That is a new distillery that I heard about recently, and I didn't know they were kind of like a sister distillery to them. That's intriguing, though. I've heard that they are going to be doing pretty well soon.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, I think I was telling Kenny that I might be dead before they really put out the old, but I'm still looking forward to their, I guarantee it'll be good quality stuff. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, Ardbeg is another one I'm looking forward to trying their new make. I've heard is glorious, like up there with like Kilhoman when they got started. So I bet you Ardbeg will be the new Kilhoman here in a few years. I have a feeling.
I mean, I hope so. I continue to be amazed at the quality of Kilchoman based on the age. Like they have some 3 and 4 year old bottlings that are quite good, I think.
Right. Yeah.
No wonder I can't find their new 12 and 14-year-old stuff. They have like a 14-year-old release, but their releases are so specialized that hell, have they ever really done an official 10-year-old yet? I know they had some private stuff, but I don't think
what's interesting about them is they've only done one independent bottling. They did one cask to SMWS, and that's it. That's been it.
Wow.
Wait, really? I swear I've seen some European sites with some stuff, but
somebody on the chat, if I'm wrong, tell me. But I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
You might be right.
I don't remember seeing like Chapter 7 or anything like that releases from
no
Kilhoman yet, but you never know. It's some of those guys. Yeah, like it's funny how Isla in general, minus Kalila and Bowmore and maybe Bunahaven, but most of these guys are really tight when it comes to letting independent bottling people do anything with their stuff. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
like Lefroy and Ardbeg are notorious for not having a lot of special releases outside of a couple that I could think of, like Chieftains. I think's done a couple here and there, and
Lefroy has a few more. And Ardbeg, I mean, I have one coming in that's a 15-year-old Ardbeg from Europe. So they do but not many. You're right. It's not many at all. I think Lefroy probably does more.
What's the name of the Ardbeg one that you're?
It's by the same people that do the boutique whiskey one.
Okay.
But it's a new line up they do that's kind of more their special cast that they want to put out there. So it's 700 milliliter instead of
nice
500 or whatever. So
is this going to be a sherry or straight up bourbon, or do you know?
It's bourbon, but I'm happy about that. So it's
yeah. No, I was just curious because that's another thing you don't really see a lot of is the Ardbegs that have, if they are independent, they don't do a lot of sherry influences on that typically. But I'm sure you've already got a couple back in the back. Look at the color on that, man. That is insane. Adelphi, of course. This is the bottling that
before, but it's 1976 distillery. 19
This is the bottling that I've recently was lucky enough to get a sample of a guy that I'm friends with that came from New Jersey, and he came by. This was during COVID. We were socially distanced in the carport and had masks on, but we were, put the mask down and enjoy our drams on the side. And I gave him some Altmore 21 and some Lagavulin 18 Fishil from 2018. And he brought a couple bottles, and one of them was a really good Deanston that was, I forgot the bottler, but he also brought an Adelphi that was a Tannic 15 that was sherried like that. It was that color. And I tell you, man, it was like one of the best sherry bottles I've ever had. Adelphi is insane.
This is it. This is what you're talking about. I just had a sample of it. I opened the sample last night. Adelphi Tannic. Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Isn't that crazy how good that is?
Really good.
Well,
have you had that one before, Steven?
No, I haven't. I just know the Adelphi stuff is so, like, when they say sherried, I mean, they mean
it.
They are like so dark.
they like get a sherry cask and leave half the sherry in it, and then
They do something. I don't know what they do, but it's darker than. It's always like they just judge it on how dark it is. I guess I don't know.
They do a hell of a job because I tell you what, after having that one, if I'm going to get an independent bottling of something, Adelphi is probably going to be my top 3. That's how good that bottle was. I thought.
Yeah,
I've had some crazy ones
I
before.
need to try more of their stuff. I don't think I've had some, but I definitely need to try more of there because they do put out some good stuff.
I've got a Adelphi Linkwood open that is both very dark and very good, and I think it's like an 84 or 85 vintage.
Oh wow! I'm Linkwood. I like Linkwood. A lot of people
really good bottle.
Yeah,
aren't they usually a little lighter on the profile, Stephen, or are they always pretty heavy sherry?
What, Linkwood? Not always.
They're usually pretty light, aren't they? From what I remember. Like,
yeah, big
I mean light, lighter on the profile. Not.
Yeah,
not
I mean, the really the Linkwood, because they don't put really much out there. But the one that I had that was around here a lot was the Gordon MacPhail. That was 46%. That was maybe a 15-year-old Linkwood. That was, and I thought it was very enjoyable. I mean, it's very malty to me. But it's good. Oh wow.
Yeah, this is a 26-year-old Linkwood from 1984.
Nice. That's awesome.
Perfect year too, man. 84 Stingray.
I mean, it's a really good bottle. It really is.
Yeah. I've got this. Let me see what I've got here. I've got one.
I didn't mean to try to get into like a dick swinging contest with Steven over here.
No,
I'll lose that.
No, Kenny, you're matching me. You need to go show your bottles off because you've got a ton of great bottles. So
no, I like it when you guys show what you got because it gives me ideas when I need to get in the future.
This is natural color. This is nothing nearly as dark. I don't even know what this is. This is the 27, the signatory one.
Oh, nice. 27, 1990.
Yeah.
Natural color.
Yeah.
What's the ABV on that one?
Do what?
What's the ABV on that one?
50.3.
I bet that's really, really good.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is.
27 years at that ABV.
It's funny. It's got this sticker. I've never seen this sticker on the back of them. It says, this cask was bottled with barrier filtration only. Whilst this ensures retention of maximum flavor and character, it is possible that some findings, they call them findings, settle at the bottom of the bottle. Perfectly natural and should not be cause for concern.
I think with these handcrafted things, they got to be really careful. Like, you probably heard of the notorious Glen Scotia Cloudy bottle that Malt had recently, right?
Yeah, no, and I've seen that on where he bought it from, and it is that cloudy even on the picture, and it does not. I mean, I cannot imagine if I got that in after ordering it. It was that murky looking. I mean, that's like Mississippi water murky. I mean, it is really murky.
It's surprising. I still have some I saved. I'm gonna try to get you guys somehow. I might have to split a micro sample, but I'm gonna save a little bit for you just to see what you think, because I'm really intrigued. It's not bad per se, but it's not great. But it is intriguingly good. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I sent you a sample of Glen Scotia. It was really good. The rum thing.
The rum cast was really good.
I think the rum cast is great.
No, I agree. That one was superb. This one is funky. It's got some weird funky notes to it that I can't really explain. And I'm hoping that, I mean, obviously I'm not the only one. I thought it was a little of a strange bottle, but I just want to see your expression when you taste it.
Yeah.
You won't go blind, at least. I know that. I don't think it was done in someone's bathtub, but it is kind of weird to let some offering like that get out into the wild. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah. Glen Scotia's one. I mean, Kenny, do you have any Glen Scotia at all?
I have that SMWS bottle that John had, and we opened at his place one time.
Yeah,
so
that was good, right? I mean,
it is good. It's good. It's like a 13 or 14 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one I have there.
Yeah, I mean, I only have that rum one. I don't have any other ones either.
The regular 15 guys is it's a steal for $60-$70. That's a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely worth just to try, for regular profile.
I did see a lot of that down. I saw a lot of it down in Atlanta, and I did see the 25-year-old too.
A regular distillery 25.
Yeah.
What was the price on that?
I don't remember. I remember it was a little higher than I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't where I'd want to pay for it. Put it that way.
Yeah. I think, Stephen, for you, I think you would really enjoy their 18 because it's a straightforward, great bourbon cask, like in your face. But if you are in the sherry mood, that 15 you can't get much better, especially for the price. It's a 15-year-old. I mean, it's not high ABV, but it does have a great profile. It's complex.
What's the ABV on it?
Give me 1 second.
I mean, it's not. Doesn't always have to be. I mean, I would like to have things 46. I mean, that's kind of usually my threshold. Depends on the quality. What I know about the bottle, but
it's 46. So yeah, I'm the same way. If it's as long as it's 46 and above, I'll give it a chance. Typically, without a lot of reservation. I mean, I'll give 40 and 43 a chance, but I'm usually already really damn nervous.
Yeah.
That Glenlivet 18, that new one, was a really absolute disappointment when it compares to the 18 they just had out last year that was 43. Dropping it from 43 to 40 makes no sense to me at all.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
This is Glenlivet 18. They used to have a decent one for 43%, and I would give it a 4 out of 5. But the new one was only 40%, and I could only give it a 3.75 out of 5. It was for 18-year. It was really sad to me because I really like their for a basic daily dram. Good sipper. The 12-year-old, I think, is a good, for your typical Scotch drinker. But I can't imagine paying that kind of stuff for an 18-year-old that's only 40%. Just doesn't do it.
Kenny, you need to show him the. I haven't even opened. It's in a box though, but the Lafroig that you got in.
Let me go. Let me go get it. Hold on.
Yeah, show it off. I want to see it.
I'm afraid now. If it's Lafroig, dude, you're in trouble.
I came home. Mine's still in the box. I haven't even opened the box yet, but he's got it.
Both got one of these things.
Well, we've got
Oh man, is this a new release?
Yeah, they just released it. It's over in Europe. I mean, it's not here in the States. I don't know if it'll even be. It should be here in the States at some point, but not yet.
So this is
I'm already scared. It's a big box. So it's a 30-year-old.
This is the Ian Hunter Book 2.
Yeah, look at that. I want to see the color. Is what I want to see.
Well, it's in a green bottle, so you're not going to see the color.
Oh, is it?
It's in a book.
That means you have to open the bottle, dude.
Yeah, let's open it, Kenny. That's what he does.
Not tonight, but maybe sometime. So here's the actual bottle. So this is a series that they're doing to honor Ian Hunter, who was the owner of Lafroig in the early 1900s. This one is 30 years in Spanish oak Oloroso sherry casks.
Ooh, yeah. I bet that's a really good marriage of the wood and the cherry.
Well, and what in the ABV? Tell me the ABV, which is good.
ABV 48.2.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice for that year age.
So this is the Ian Hunter Book 1, which was the first release in the series.
Oh my goodness, guys!
So this one is a full bourbon maturation. So it's a bourbon in a sherry cask.
I'm afraid to ask. Like, is this for 30-year-old?
Yeah, don't even ask.
We're talking 1,100.
Yeah, I mean,
a little under.
But about $1,000, it sounds like. Okay, I'm not surprised. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't more, to be honest, with a special release of a 30-year-old.
Well, it's great. You can tell the color though is darker on that.
I was thinking $1,200 to $1,500 because Lagavulin sells theirs for 20. They're 25 for like what?
Yeah, that's
$1,300.
That's different. Lagavulin is plus the 25. That's cast strength too, which I don't know. This might be at 48.2.
I think it's cast strength.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah, it could be cast strength.
So the Book 1 was at 46.7, but all those 25s, Stephen, are at cast strength, and they're usually in the high 40s.
Yeah. A lot of them are. Some are 50s, but yeah, you're right.
But they're not like super high. They're not like the Clevelands.
That's true.
When I got this really good exclusive malt, Highland Park 25 cast strength, it was still only 48. So that's still possible at that age, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm very excited. That does look pretty dark there on the other side. Even with green bottle, you could tell that it's...
Yeah, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
This is the bourbon. This is the sherry.
The sherry is like extremely dark. My goodness.
Well, I did have somebody that I trust who has a good palate, that another Scotch friend, and we have an ounce coming of each. Kenny's got an ounce. I have an ounce of a sample. Try it, but he did say that he wishes he didn't even sample it out because it's so good.
Oh wow! If it's that good, where people are like mad about sampling, it's going to be really damn good.
He thinks it's going to be a pretty sought after bottle, which it already is. But
well, yeah, I mean, they've sold out very quickly when they've been released online. Yeah. So
isn't it amazing that someone could sell liquid for $1,000 and have it sell out? I mean, isn't that just? I mean, it's almost the American way, but it's just so crazy to me that you can have a bottle of liquid and say this is $1,000, and there'll be so many people that will be willing to pay that to get it that you'll sell out of it. Yeah. That's just crazy.
Yeah, and Telex, you got two of those idiots on a call with you right now.
Yeah.
If I had the cash right now, dude, I would be like, take it, baby.
Telex, it's not a bottle of liquid; it's a bottle of happiness.
There you go. Okay. That's true. Very good happiness and tasty happiness, I should say too. No, I'm not knocking it because I've done the same thing. Like the Bruichladdich Black Arts 4.1 is a great example of a whiskey that is like crazy money, but it's worth every penny of it.
The question about this specific whiskey, Telex, is between Stephen and I, which one of us is going to get drunk first and decide it's a good idea to open it?
That's true.
It's going to take probably of course, special occasion's going to have to be involved.
Doesn't have to.
It's gonna either that or there's going to be like a major milestone moment where a promotion or a new client or something like that.
Or 10 drinks in and some peer pressure. Sometimes that works.
You guys must be really, really bad when you get a group of friends over on a weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah. Stephen and I are both bad. The good thing about COVID for me is Stephen has outdoor space and I don't, so we're tend to be at his house. So my bottles are safe. His are very much in danger.
Oh no!
Yeah, he's always pressuring me, and I'm always getting a little tipsy, and going back, and it's always the second pull. It's like COVID, the second wave. The real the big.
The key is you plant the seed early. You mention it early. You plant the seed early,
right?
And then you get them thinking about it, and then you let that idea simmer. And Stephen have 6 or 7 drinks, and then you go back to it.
You know what you do, Stephen? Yeah, Stephen, get your wheelbarrow, get you some concrete, get you some stuff together. You go over to his house, you order some contractors to show up, and you say, "Hey, we're here to build you an outside
he's got an incredible outdoor area. What is he talking about? He's got a great outdoor area.
It's a share,
but it's a common area because he lives in a big apartment complex. So,
can you drink in the common area?
Oh yeah.
Oh well, there we go. All right, Kenny, when you having your next gathering, I'll be there with bells on.
Telex are ruining this for me.
Sorry.
I've got a great setup going right now.
John does say he would bet on Kenny opening first, and because John's probably true. He's probably right. Well, you never know. I don't know. He's probably true.
It depends on the bottle, I'm sure too.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple of bottles that even at your tipsiest and most vulnerable point, you'd be like, nah.
Trust me, the Port Ellens and the Brewer is.
Yeah, he's even stingy with those dead distilleries.
Yeah.
Very generous with everything else. Stingy with the dead distilleries.
COVID. When we're over it, that's when one of them is definitely opening up one. Definitely.
Do you have any pity vac back there?
Do what?
Do you have any pity vac back there?
Pity vac.
How about Little Mill? Do you like Little Mill or any of
Yeah,
the other?
Kitty's got the Little Mill. He's got a.
I just got one bottle. Yeah, I picked up an old one. It was like a '68 Little Mill.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I've only had their basic dead stuff, the 12, I think it was. It was really good.
It's a Grant selection, but it's very dark, heavily sherry Little Mill.
Really dark, yeah.
Oh man, are you gonna? Is it already opened or is it?
It's not yet. It's not yet.
This is the one. I'm gonna show you the one we're gonna open when. This is the one that's being opened.
I'm already drilling.
Yeah, no, I really want to try this because I mean I've heard great things of it, but it's the 10th release of Port Ellen,
Nice.
31-year-old.
Holy moly, 54.6. Oh man, look at that bottle.
This is the one that I really I want to open this. I mean, I want to. I mean, but I told myself it will be when COVID is, and you know, when we're kind of over it.
Get on the horn, dude.
I didn't expect when I said that. I didn't expect it to go this.
DEFCON 5, baby. DEFCON 5.
I know.
He said that in April when we thought it was going to be July 4th at the latest.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
dude! If this is not going on, I swear to God, until next winter, we'll be lucky. I hope to God that I've heard Oxford has got a good chance. I don't know how realistic it is, but have you heard about the Oxford news at all?
No.
Yeah, Oxford in UK is getting on the tail end of their trial stuff, so they're looking pretty good. I don't think they've had any scares like AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson and some of these other guys have had. So we'll see what happens. But that would be awesome if I'll take it. I don't care if it comes from Britain. I'll take it if it works. I'm not going to be the first one.
I don't want the Russian vaccine.
Yeah, I'm not going to be the first one to take it, but I'll be the second wave. I'm a good second wave guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I will say, I mean, it's, you know, I'm gonna tell you, and my son right now, he was exposed to someone who had COVID, so he's on kind of quarantine right now. So,
oh man.
So I mean, we'll see. I think everything's gonna be fine, but it's you know, it's all, you never know. It's his swim teacher had it, so.
Oh yeah.
So she was luckily she's in the pool. She had the face shield and stuff, but I think he'll be fine. He's only 3 years old.
If she was careful enough to have a face shield on in the pool, then that at least says that she was conscious enough.
Yeah, that's all part of it. But so I think he'll be fine. But you know, it's just, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's going around. You got to be super careful if you don't want to get it. I mean, it's you know, we'll see. But,
yeah. Now, I've been lucky. I got an 11-year-old that's been out of school, doing school from home, of course. But yeah, it's been eventful. But I think if we can make it till after winter, I think we'll be in really good shape because, like this stuff goes in waves. You know, I think winter's going to be challenging, but I think thankfully the American people have it in them to get through the winter. And you know, if we can get to April, I think we'll be looking good by that point.
You have more faith than I do.
I'm trying to be positive.
Well, this has been fun, guys.
Yeah, it has. Telex, I'm glad you enjoyed the whiskeys.
Oh yeah, I mean by far, like I'm really surprised at how well that Benevos 18 did for that price. That was unreal. So keep your eyes on the Bracadier German bottling, and of course Port Ellen. I mean, what can you say? Malta Scotland's never disappointed as far as independent bottling yet either. 82 a great year, 2013 53.2 great percentage. That was my 5 out of 5 for tonight by far. And Alligator's no joke. I mean, that's a good one. Do I wish there was a little more cask sweetness, you know, something maturation that made it go that way? Maybe, but still solid, much better than most releases. Like you guys said, it beats the shit out of the drum by far, and even better than the Grooves and the Kelpie. It's maybe not as good as the Dark Cove Committee, but it's in that caliber, like right underneath there. I think at this point.
That's fair. I mean, that the Dark Cove is fantastic, and the reason why. I mean, everybody searches for that one.
And the reason I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than the Alligator was only because of the sherry, and being a little more in your face, maybe. But it's not to say that the quality is any better. It's just more of a subjective tasting at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, for as far as quality whiskey, I would much rather have the Alligator than anything else that they've released, minus maybe the Ardbeg and Dark Cove. That's only two I'd probably would put above it.
Oh, you like the Ardbeg above it?
Only because I love the Mazzania, the Fino sherry involved with that one. That also has a really high ABV, like this 52.1. It's its own par, I'd say, with the Ardbeg. To me, it's like it's right there along with the best that Ardbeg has offered on their we'll call it, I guess, official type releases, yearly releases. It's definitely in the top 3 that I've had, and that's out of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different ones. So top 3 out of 10 is pretty damn good, I'd say.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Well, very good. Well, enjoyed spending time with you guys as always. Can I answer a question here?
Yeah, just real fast. Disappear. Sometimes Bunnahabhain releases a peaty or what you might consider a smoky Scotch, but you have to look for it. Like the basic releases, their core range, like the 12, the Sturroder, the 18, and the I think that's pretty much their core 25. Those are not peated. To get peat, you'd have to go to more like the Krugvona or the Choychek, the first and second release. There's a Choychek and a Choychek Aha, and you've got the Kyabanok. There's some really good peat releases out there, but they're more known for their non-peated releases, I would say. What about you, Kenny?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's about right. You know, their standard stuff, I don't get a lot of peat. Some of the independent bottlings, you may find some, but it just depends on the distillate. They could go either way.
Yeah, the Moyne is another peated release series that Bunnahabhain does on the side sometimes.
Yeah, those are generally pretty heavy peat.
And does peated mean that Scotch will taste smoky? Well, not necessarily. When you think of peat, you should think of it separately, really, than smoke itself, because you can have a whiskey. I hate to use them as an example, but Jura is a smoky whiskey that doesn't really necessarily peated. And on the other side, I'd say the Bruichladdich Octomore, which is a heavily peated whiskey, isn't really known for its smokiness. It's the peat is like the bite of the vegetal aspects of that peat bog. It's got like a bite to it that you get from that alone. The smoke is kind of like the residual after effect from peat sometimes, but you don't necessarily have to have peat to have smoke. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that, Kenny, the best of my,
Yeah, I mean, there's some subtleties between the two. I mean, you tend to have, it's more likely to have some smoky flavor if there is some peat, because I think a lot of Jura even has some light peat to it.
Some of them do, like the Prophecy, I want to say, or Superstition. Yeah. I can't remember which releases have peat, but you definitely don't have to have peat in order to have smoke. You can have smoke without the peat aspects completely. I'm trying to think of another good example of it. There are some out there, like the Macallan Black, the Rare Cask Black is a smoky Scotch, but it's not a peated Scotch. I know the Rare Cask is completely more like light. It doesn't have that smoky aspect to it. But the black of the rare cask Macallan does have a smokiness, but it's not necessarily a peaty smoke, if that makes any sense.
I've not had that rare cask black, but I thought it was a peated expression.
It is peated, but it's just to say that it's. I'm trying to think of another one that I know Jura's been on doing the smoke without the peat, but I know there's some other ones I'm trying to think of.
The Disappear mentioned Oban and peating. Oban is very light peat on that. So you can get it, but it's not to the level of peat as some of the Islas.
Yeah, and just because it might be a low on the peat doesn't mean it might not be overly smoky. Here's another good example. The Bay Reserve was a good one. It's peated, but it's definitely more of a smokier taste than a peaty taste. When I think peat, I think of, like I said, Brooklady Octomore series has got a heavily peat factor to it. The Port Charlotte of Brooklady is heavily peated. You're going to have a really nice bite with the barley that you get, but smokiness is different. And I'm trying to give you more of a. That's okay, Stephen. Appreciate you stopping by on that. But I'm trying to give you a better example of that. But there are some scotches out there that are more smoky than anything else. But it's not just the peat that's causing it. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, just remember that, just because you have a smoked scotch doesn't mean it always has peat. Like there's some Highland Parks that are slightly peated that taste more smoky than they do peat-wise. Think of it as like a flavor, like just like a saltiness versus tartness versus fruitiness versus there's smokiness, there's peatiness, it's just kind of another color on the spectrum, basically, I'd say. But anyway, thanks so much for stopping by, Kenny. Sorry to hold you up.
No, you're good. You're good. But Telex, hey, really appreciate you having me. Enjoyed drinking with you as always.
I appreciate all the fine offerings we went through.
Yeah, and what's on tap for you on next Tuesday? What's going to be the release that you're looking at?
I believe, and I want to make sure before I say it for sure, but I believe it's going to be the Deanston series, which, 11/10 on next Tuesday, we're going to be looking at a really good solid dram. And if it's not on your bar already, even folks like Kenny and Steven should have a Deanston 12 for their people that are not big Scotch fanatics, but they're wanting to see what Scotch is like. I think that, Deanston 12, would that be something that you would give somebody on an entry level?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I hadn't had a lot of Deanston, but the Mead Mule, John, introduced me to some really nice ones, and I'm pretty impressed with them. I think it's a really good value Scotch and kind of an underrated distillery.
By far. I mean, they do have the craft down really well, and we'll also be looking at the Deanston 20-year-old Oloroso release also on next Tuesday. So definitely, if you're not, or if you are a Deanston fan, please stop by with either the 12 or the 20 or both. Have a dram with us, and we'll talk about Deanston very much. And we'll also be looking at a distillery after that, and I'll try to bring up it on the side. One called Speyside, which is kind of strange. It's a Speyside distillery called Speyside, which is kind of weird. But they also have a lot of releases under the name just Spey. So we'll be looking at a Speyside 12 and a Spey 18.
So let me ask you about that. And I know we're trying to get off, but I have a question. So is that different than Glen Spey?
Yes, it's a completely different distillery. Glen Spey is also another distillery that's not very well known. I think they're a Diageo unit.
Yeah, they are. That's right.
But there's also the Speyside 12, Spey 18, those type of offerings. They have a Spey Fumari, people might have heard of before. And just before we go, let me see if I can find, I think I already have it here. Yeah, one second. pull it up here on the side. Had it. There we go. Sorry about that. Speyside is also it's located in Drumgush, which is one. It's funny because I was looking at when I first got into Scotch, I was looking for just starter bottles. What can I get in for the least amount of money just to see if I even like it? And Drumgush is one of those bottles I found. It was like a $20 bottle. Never tried it, but now looking back, I'm glad I never did because I probably wouldn't have liked it very much, being at such a low price. But they're independent owned distillery, so it's funny that they're just named Speyside.
Yeah, no, that is funny.
Have Spey as a side brand that they use for some of their names too. So we'll be looking at that and seeing if it's worth even a closer look later on too. And we'll get into some 1 second. I had another one up here. And looking at Lecheg and Benromic and some Enoch, Lafroig, Lagavulin, McKellen, some Glendronach, Ballblair, Glencadams. We've got some really good ones on deck in the few months to come. So thanks for so much for stopping by, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, look forward to that, Telex. Again, thanks for having me, bud. Great to see you.
Anytime. And looking forward to getting you guys some stuff on the side. I've got some slightly peated Kilhomans that just got released from Jack Rose that you might be interested in trying. One's a sherry and one's a bourbon release.
Oh, sounds awesome, man.
All right, man.
All right, see ya.
See you for now. Salanchava.